All right, all right, all right. What is up, YouTube? What is up, fellow fantasy people? And as always, what is up, the Catch fam, man? A little Thursday night football action for you guys on here just a couple minutes later than I wanted to. Man, we missed the first two drives for the live stream, but two three and outs, right? Not the most exciting, starting drives there for either team, right? Questionable call there, against a no call there, against the Texans on DJ Moore there on third down, and then now we see our guy Mills come out and have a three and out for the Texans. So for myself in this game, I'm looking for a couple things. Okay, Christian McCaffrey in my lineup in my 12-man league. So I'm looking for CMC to ball out here. And then I've got the Panthers defense in my 20-man league. And I'm going to need some help in my 20-man league this week. So I am looking for the Panthers defense to ball out. And I am looking for Christian McCaffrey to ball out as well. But you know what time it is, man. Good old fantasy Q&A. We're going to be doing some call-outs from this game, man. We're going to do most of this game tonight, unless something changes here. So it might take a halftime intermission. But other than that, man, we're just chilling, playing Madden, hanging out with the Catch fam. Antonio Lopez, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're having a wonderful night. Hope you've had a great week. And let's see. Give me your thoughts on this trade I just did. Diggs and Claypool for Godwin, Darrell Henderson, and Galladay. I think that's a pretty good trade. I think you're essentially replacing that value of Stephon Diggs with that of Chris Godwin. So I think you're good there. I think the advantage of the trade is that you get some added depth at the RB position, right? So I think if you were looking for depth at the running back position, I'm sorry, I got Diggs and Claypool. If you're asking me, I think that's actually a pretty good trade too, right? Vice versa, right? You replace, Godwin with that of Stephon Diggs. And then I think Claypool, in my honest opinion, is going to have a better season than that of Kenny Galladay. I know a lot of people are looking for Galladay to start to step up, right? But I think Claypool is going to have a better season. So I think right now is a good time to trade Darrell Henderson because I think actually when you look at his some of these matchups coming up are just not benefiting him, right? For example, this week he's banged up and he's facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? It's a tough matchup, so I think it's a good time to trade him if you're not fully confident in him. But yeah, I think that's a fine trade, man. I think obviously as long as you're confident at the running back position, I think you definitely got two very valuable receivers where I'm not 100% sold on that of Kenny Galladay at the moment, but he's got plenty of time to prove me wrong. So, I mean, hey, man, anytime that you're trading for Stephon Diggs, I'm not going to hate on it, man. I think it's a good trade for sure. So let's see. Panthers back on the field, 1st and 10 here. CMC gets the ball. Good run, about 9 yards there. So, man, I need like an absolutely crazy game out of Christian McCaffrey. Like I want that advantage going in to week 3 here that I am just up 40 points. Just after the couple of losses we suffered last week, I want some big momentum going into week 3 here. So let me know, Antonio, if you have any players playing in this game tonight, whether it's offensively or if you have the Panthers defense. Let me know, man. Let me know what you're looking for as well as we see Christian McCaffrey with another handoff up. Looks like he picked up the first down, but yeah, I'm pretty positive he got the first down there. So I think we're good there. But I want Christian McCaffrey to have like 4 scores. That's the type of mood I'm in tonight. And I want this Panthers defense to get pretty gnarly. But at the same time, I'd like to see a good game overall. But it looks like the Christian McCaffrey actually did not pick up that first down. So they will call it 3rd and 1 here. So this Texans team, man, they're interesting. Yeah, they really are. They're definitely surprising a lot of people. So I like where they're at the moment, man. But I think this injury to Tyrod Taylor is going to be pretty impactful to this squad. Looks like Sam Darnold just rushed for a first down there. So tough play by Sam Darnold, man. And looks like they got the first down here. So let's see. So I'll kind of be going through my fantasy lineups through the live stream as well. Just kind of letting you guys know who I am starting this coming week. And I like where my matchups are at the moment. So let's see what Christian McCaffrey does. I'm just assuming he gets the ball. Let's see what the Panthers do. And it's a setup screen to Christian McCaffrey. Man, bad block. If they had just got that blocker there on the outside, would have been a much better play overall. But hey, we'll take the reception, right? It still has fantasy value, even if you only get a yard or so. So not going to sweat that whatsoever. But yeah, eventually throughout the night, we'll go through my fantasy lineups for the week, and I got some interesting things going on, to say the least. So, and can we score? We cannot. So, let's see here. 2nd and 9 for the Panthers, man. Robbie Anderson is someone I'd like to see get a lot more involvement. So let's see here. Darnold dropping back. A little bit of pressure here by the Texans. He's going to throw this away. Oh, he almost completes it to Moore. DJ Moore is going to have a lot of targets in this game. That's really the the top offensive player that the Texans need to be concerned about, outside of Christian McCaffrey, of course, right? But yeah, he almost got this ball completed. Yeah, it went through right through DJ Moore's hands, man. So 3rd and 9 for the Panthers. Let's see what Darnold can't cook up here. Let's see, dropping back. Wow, he's been a little hesitant. And he finds DJ Moore down the field. Beautiful completion, man. Oh, wow. He just got dogged in Madden. He just got mossed, bro. Yeah. Tyrell Williams balling. Good pass by Sam Darnold there, man. A little bit of pressure there. Got outside the pocket. I like that throw a lot, man. Finds his guy down the field. That's a good play, man. Man, Sam Darnold, he looks pretty good, man. I like where Darnold is at right now. Finally gets out of the Jets, right? It's a good front 7 for the Panthers. There's a lot of weapons on this team. A decent O-line, man. Let's see here. Fakes to Christian McCaffrey. Rolling out. Finds his man. 88. That's Terrace Marshall Jr., right? I did drop Marshall Jr. in my 12-man league. A lot of good matchups for these Panthers receivers, but I'm just willing to battle for him on the waiver wire if and when he does become fantasy relevant, right? At this point in time, I just need some added depth at other positions, and I had to drop him. It really hurt me, man. Love getting Diggs and Claypool at discount. Great move. What's your RB depth, Antonio? So what is up, Steven? We've got our co-host, Steven, in the chat at the moment. And let's see. Chuba Hubbard getting the handoff here on 1st and 10, man. I don't like that, man. I need Christian McCaffrey to be getting them handoffs, bro. And they're taking Hubbard out the game. Sam Darnold already has a better completion rating, yards per game, touchdown interception rating, and passer rating through 2 games. Well, that makes sense. He only played 2 games with the Panthers, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. So, all right, 2nd and 7 here for the Panthers. Let's get CMC in the mix, baby. Darnold dropping back. Finds his man. Man, DJ Moore is going to have a monster game. What was that, his 5th target? 3rd reception? 4 or 7. No, that's I'm sorry, that's Sam Darnold's. I was like, what? Yeah, DJ Moore is going to be eaten, man. Good throw by Darnold there. I mean, the Texans are getting a little bit of pressure on Darnold, but I mean, I guess that's expected at this level, right? Yeah, DJ Moore is going to have a great day. You can already tell. All right, this is where I'm looking for my guy, Christian McCaffrey, to get in the end zone. Let's see. And handoff to CMC. Oh, no! Darnold keeps it. That was a great fake. Darnold keeps it himself, man. And for some reason, Sam Darnold. I mean, I guess when you got CMC back there, it makes a lot of sense offensively to fake it to Christian McCaffrey. Like what we saw the, Titans do consistently last year with Derrick Henry in the red zone is just pull the fake, right? Because the whole defense just goes to Christian McCaffrey. I mean, yeah, it's a great play. I mean, it hurts my fantasy team, so I'm not ecstatic about it, but I can definitely see why the Panthers went that route there. So, nonetheless, man, that kind of pains me because I want to see, like I said, Christian McCaffrey go absolutely crazy tonight, and he's still got time, so we'll see what happens, man. Wow, I kept forgetting that all of my receivers in Madden are injured. Yeah, I would like Jerry Jeudy. Okay. Who else do we even have? Marquise Goodwin. All right, we're gonna run out of time to call a play. Real Goated. Hey, what is up, brother, man? Hope you are doing well. Good to see you in the chat, man. Hope you're having a good night. Always good to have you, man. Loyal member of the Catch fam in the building. So as we fail to convert on third down, but you already know what time it is, man. We are just rolling through some good old Madden, man. The classic game. It never changes, never does you wrong. It is what it is, right? Watching some football, man. Thursday night football. Let me know, Real Goated. Who do you have if you have anyone playing tonight? What are you looking for in this game, man? For myself, I've got Christian McCaffrey starting in my 12-man league. Outside of that, man, I've got the Panthers defense in my 20-man league. So I'm looking for Christian McCaffrey to go ballistic tonight, as it usually does, and I am looking for this Panthers defense to cause some turnovers against a very unexperienced quarterback for the Houston Texans. So we will see what happens, man. Some point I'm probably going to go through my starting lineups for this week, which are looking, they look all right, but they're looking a little bit shaky at different points, man. And outside of that, man, we'll just be taking any fantasy Q&A. We'll be chilling, man. All right, let's see here. PA Scissors in Madden is like the classic Madden play. Wow, what a bad throw. That's terrible representation of PA Scissors, man. But gosh, I've been running that play since I was like 5 years old. Okay. Real good. It really don't have another good wide receiver because Allen Robinson is my number one receiver. So my others are Jarvis Landry, but he is hurt. Then Michael Gallup and Will Fuller and Laviska Shenault. So I think I have no choice but to start Will Fuller. Yeah, I would completely agree with that. And, Will Fuller is going to essentially operate at best as the wide receiver 1 for the Dolphins and at worst as the wide receiver 2. Just kind of depend between that of Jalen Waddle and Will Fuller, right? We see Gesicki take a big step back at the tight end position, which we hate because I have him, right? So I hate it, right? But I think that Fuller could have a very good game, his first game back on the season, right? Overall, this Raiders defense looks good, but they primarily look good up front. Their secondary's been getting torched through the first 2 weeks. I mean, they played a little bit better in week 2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but week 1, the Ravens kind of tore them up, man, as we see the Texans trotting out on the field. But yeah, man, I think it's a good start, especially looking at the players you have available. I'd be interested to know who is on your waiver wire that you could potentially target, because at this point in the season, Shenault Jr. might be worth dropping to go out and target some of these better receivers on the waiver wire. And I'm not too sure about holding on, that you need to hold on to Michael Gallup at the moment either. So I'd be interested to see who's available on the waiver wire at the moment. And I definitely think you should hold on to Jarvis Landry, especially if you can keep him in like an IR spot, of course, if you have one in your league, which most leagues do. But yeah, I would say that Shenault Jr. and Michael Gallup might be two guys that you're going to have to look to replace sooner rather than later, right? So good run by Mark Ingram there on first down. Pretty decent run there on second down, but I think we're going to get a holding call as there's a flag on the play. And let's see here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and figure out what this call is. Penalties decline. They picked up the first, so yeah, no holding call whatsoever, man. I'm completely off. It just looked like a weird, the way that, or the spot of the flag led me to believe it would be a holding call, but yeah. Penalty is on, looks like it's on Brian Burns, so nonetheless, man, yeah, we need this Panthers defense to cause some turnovers. They're running the football right now. They're not, I mean, Mills is 1 for 1, -1 yards, so not the prettiest stat line overall. Handing the football to Mark Ingram again. Lots of flags on the play. Man, I mean, Mark Ingram's seeing a large uptick in carries. I mean, he had a great week 1, right? And he's coming off the field now, but he's gotten quite a few carries in this game. All right, so they're repeating first down, of course. Holding on Farrah Brown. Farrah Brown had a great week 1, man, in PPR, right? But yeah, that's the thing with this offense is we have to completely reevaluate them, evaluate this team because of the QB change with Tyrod Taylor going down. So it's just hard to say. But yeah, I like what we've seen out of Mark Ingram and his usage tonight if he's available out there. But it's going to be hard to say because David Johnson comes on the field. Good throw here by Mills on second down, right? Or excuse me, on first down. Yeah, completes it to Brandon Cook. I mean, that's a good gain right there, man. Steven, I have Gallup and Robinson. I feel your pain. Why are the Texans good? Yeah, man, it's been an interesting year for the Texans, man. I mean, I guess you just have to argue that this coaching staff knows what they're doing. I mean, at this point in the season, I mean, it's hard to say. It's small sample size, right? But overall, man, yeah, they've looked pretty good overall. So we'll see, though. Lots of time left in this game. Completion there. And yeah, I mean, another completion. Yeah, so I had the option to pick up Mills in my 20-man league. As you guys know, that Tua has been my starter and he's injured. And I didn't pick him up, man. I'm rooting for this Panthers defense all the way. But a couple people, including my co-host Steven, were saying that I should probably, or at least should have considered picking up Mills tonight. So we'll see how he plays, man. But I'm rolling with the Panthers defense, taking my bets on them tonight. But good pressure up front. Nice little scramble here by Mills. And they're trying to strip the ball. They did not strip the ball, though. But welcoming him into his first NFL start there, a pretty decent hit. So real goated. Other receiver on the waiver wire is Kenny Golladay, Jacoby Myers, and Cole Beasley. I believe you play full PPR, if I remember correctly. So let me pull up. I mean, I'm not sold on Myers at the moment. So and that was third down by the Texans. So looks like the Texans will punt here, of course. And we will see if Christian McCaffrey can score on this coming play or not. But yeah, real good. Let's see here, man. I mean, I really think that Chenault Jr. I dropped Chenault Jr. if it makes you feel better, right? And that was a guy who I was pretty high on overall, right? I mean, we just haven't seen the same chemistry out of him and Trevor Lawrence here in the actual season that we saw in the offseason. But, Kenny Golladay hasn't had more than 4 receptions through his first 2 weeks, but he's faced, 2 pretty tough matchups, right? He's got Atlanta in week 3. So a lot of people are looking for him to have kind of that breakout game. And I mean, I think the Giants are going to have a pretty good game in week 3. So Kenny Golladay is a decent option, man. Cole Beasley is an interesting option as well, man. I mean, he's always going to have that PPR value, right? I mean, 8 receptions in week 1 versus the Steelers. He caught all 4 of his targets, in week 2 versus Miami. Tough matchup versus Washington. Then he gets a pretty good stretch versus Houston, Kansas City, and Tennessee. So I think Cole Beasley always has PPR value. But I think regardless, even if you pick up either Golladay or that Cole Beasley, excuse me, I think you're still probably for this week going to start Will Fuller and Allen Robinson, right? Um, but I mean, Jacoby Myers is just. I really liked him going into the season, but he hasn't really solidified himself as the number one receiver, right? And I mean, he's a decent PPR value, right? I mean, 6 receptions week 1, 4 receptions in week 2, no scores yet. Uh, I like Beasley or Galladay more. Our co-host Steven, lots of buzz. Galladay may have a bigger week this week, so much talent, and got a great matchup. Yeah, I don't disagree with that whatsoever. If you're asking me, man, I think you could definitely at least drop Chenault Jr. And I think at the moment, definitely in full PPR, Cole Beasley is a good option. I think Galladay is a good option too. He at least presents that upside for you. So, yeah, man, I would consider dropping Chenault Jr. at this point in the season. And I mean, still monitor him on the waiver wire and where he's at. But right now, it looks like Marvin Jones is the main receiver in that offense. And DJ Chark's been playing a nice number 2 role. I mean, Chenault Jr. is getting a relatively good target share, but we just haven't really seen it come to fruition like we would have liked to. Especially me being really high on Chenault Jr. towards the end of the preseason, right? But it's about that time in the season, right? I mean, week 3, where you got to start making some of these calls on guys that you drafted, maybe you felt really good about, going in or coming out of the draft with. And, I can tell you that Chenault Jr. is one of those guys. Another guy for me was Marquez Callaway, right? I mean, I had to make some tough calls, and those were 2 of the guys that got cut in my 12-man league, right? So, and actually I cut Callaway in my 20-man league as well. So, I think you see better value. I mean, the nice thing with Cole Beasley is you always have a safe PPR value as DJ Moore catches another football here on 2nd and 9. DJ Moore might have 20 receptions tonight. He might have. I mean, he's gonna have a monster game, man. As long as the Panthers need to stay in this game, and DJ Moore is going to go nuts. But yeah, Rio Gooded, I think it's worth looking to one of those other receivers. But I think in the meantime, it's okay to start Robinson and Will Fuller here in week 3. So 1st and 10 for the Panthers, man. I need to see my guy Christian McCaffrey do something crazy, okay? I need to see him just go absolutely crazy. And he gets stuffed behind the line. So, oh well. Real good. So, would you start Galladay or Will Fuller this week as my wide receiver too? Oh, I didn't. I would. It's a tough call, man. It really is. I like both of their matchups. Galladay's got a really good matchup against the Falcons, right? And Will Fuller's got a good matchup against the Raiders. I think that Galladay is going to have the better game, if you're asking me, man. Because, I mean, it's Will Fuller's first game, back from his suspension, dealing with injury, et cetera, et cetera. But at the moment, I will take Daniel Jones, the way he's throwing the football, over Jacoby Brissett. And we don't know exactly what we're going to see out of this Dolphins offense as a whole. With that being said, man, I mean, Will Fuller always gives you the opportunity to go absolutely insane. I mean, he has always had that big play capability, right? But Galladay's just got such a good matchup, right? And I think we know what to expect out of this Giants offense as a whole. We don't exactly know how the Dolphins are going to roll out there. I think that there's some good upside there, but I think the safer option overall is Galladay at the moment. And like I said, it just has to do with the defenses they're facing, and then how we can anticipate both of those respective offenses as a whole. And I mean, I like Jacoby Brissett, man. Don't get me wrong. I like the brisket, right? But I just want to see exactly how this offense looks under, Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback position. And Daniel Jones is surprising a lot of people. He's looked really good, man. So, we'll roll with our guy Kenny Galladay, right? As keep dropping passes here in Madden. So, okay, 1st and 10 for the Panthers. And let's hope Christian McCaffrey, come on, man. He's got to break one tonight. I mean, he's got to have one of those crazy 80-yard plays, right? I mean, I can just feel it. It's in the air, man. We need a big, big game out of CMC, and I think we're gonna get it. Just gotta be patient, man. All right, so let's see. My boy George in my 20-man league is asking me, "Am I starting the right people?" Oh, this is for a different league too. We're gonna have to look into that, man. We're gonna do it live here on the Catch Fam, man. I can't tell what team. Oh, okay, I see what team is his. All right, so Russell Wilson's his quarterback. No other quarterback. Running back, he has got Kamara and Eckler in. Okay. On his bench, he's got Hunt and Edmonds and Jacobs and Williams. Whew, and Fournette. Nice, I like it, man. Wow, those are some tough calls, man. Then he's got his flex is Scary Terry. Then he's got Chris Godwin and DK Metcalf. Wow. This must be an 8-man league he's playing in for fun or something. But, wow. Yeah, these are tough calls, man. He's got Hawkinson at tight end and Marquise Brown versus Detroit. Man, I would definitely consider Chase Edmonds here and Williams as well going up against Jacksonville and Detroit. But, wow. A lot of good matchups, man. Yeah, that's going to be I'm going to come back to that one, man. Steven says Galladay is safer and better option one of those starts where you close your eyes and just put your faith in Mr. Daniel Jones. Yeah, I'm on the Danny J train. I picked up Danny J in my mine and Steven's 12-man league, man, and I feel good about Danny J, man. I was not on the Danny J train all offseason, preseason. I said some pretty bad things about the Giants, right? And they are 0-2. Let's not get twisted, right? But they look pretty good for an 0-2 team, and I like what Daniel Jones has done fantasy-wise so far, right? Richard Glass, what is going on, man? Good to see you, bro. As I see, good to see you streaming. It's good to see you, my guy, in the live stream, in the chat, man. We always appreciate having you here, bro. Loyal member of the Catch Fam, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good night. Let me know, man, if you got any players out there tonight in this Houston-Carolina game, what you're looking for in this game, whether it's from a fantasy perspective or if you're just sitting back, chilling, watching some Thursday night football, man. I've got Christian McCaffrey in my 12-man league. Need him to ball out, man. I want some good momentum going here in into week 3, and then I've got I've got the Panthers defense in my 20-man league, so I'm looking for a shutout with some turnovers, man. So we'll see what happens, man. Can tell you, man. And there's a catch for Christian McCaffrey, makes a man miss, picks up the first down. I think DJ Moore's gonna have a monster game, man. He looks like he's going to have about 20 receptions in this game. But I am, and as I miss an extra point in Madden, nothing new there, I'm actually interested. Wow, Robbie Anderson was wide open on that play. DJ Moore had good separation too. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I am genuinely interested in seeing how this Texans team responds, man. I am interested from a football perspective. I mean, I want the Panthers to kind of decimate them, from a fantasy perspective. But I am, of course, interested to see what can the Texans do tonight from a football perspective, and can they step up to the plate? Because they've looked all right all season long, right? I mean, by all season long, I mean through 2 games, right, with Tyrod Taylor healthy. And I'm interested to see how they bounce back, of course, man. All right, good run there by Christian McCaffrey. 2nd and 1. Chuba Hubbard's in the game. Richard Glass, I live in Houston and only have McCaffrey tonight in 1 league. Yeah, man, I'm hoping for a monster game by CMC, man. I think he can certainly do it. I mean, Houston's shown some good flashes defensively, but overall, I mean, we know who the better side of things tonight is going to be. I think it's definitely going to be the Panthers offense. But this Panthers front seven has looked quite good, man. Quite good. So be interested to see how many turnovers they can cause tonight. Man, we need to get CMC back in this game, man. I know he's tired, but get him out there. Man, Chuba Hubbard, okay, I've heard people pronounce his name Chuba, and I've heard it pronounced Chuba. So I'm kind of switching between the two, right? Incomplete pass there for Sam Darnold on first down. But he's a really interesting handcuff player. I mean, Steve and I were, one of the first videos we ever did was our NFC South podcast season preview. This was a guy we talked a lot about, man, and I really like Hubbard, but of course, as long as Christian McCaffrey is healthy, he's going to be the guy. But as this season wears on, it's a long season, man, and I could certainly see Hubbard start to be a part of things as well. So let's see, 2nd and 10 here. Fake the handoff. They run so much play action. Wow, TJ Moore's wide open. I mean, who's covering him, man? Like, he's saying he's not down, man. Yeah, he's gonna have at least 20 receptions tonight. Okay, real good. Who do you think is going to be better wide receiver 2 through the Galladay or Will Fuller, or through the rest of the season? Sorry, Galladay or Will Fuller? It's a good question, man. I view them kind of in similar fashion. I mean, Galladay has been expected to be a wide receiver 1, but Sterling Shepard is truly that security blanket, truly the guy that has, Daniel Jones' faith. So I really think that they're both wide receiver 2s who both have the potential to be a wide receiver 1. It's a tough question to answer at the moment, right? Because we haven't really seen Will Fuller implemented overall, right? So I think we have to wait to answer that question to see how is Will Fuller used completely in that system. Is he the true wide receiver 1 in that offense, right? Which is very possible, but it's just a tough question to answer at the moment. My gut is telling me Will Fuller, but I could see Kenny Galladay stepping up, man. I mean, I wasn't as high on Kenny Galladay going into the draft as a lot of people were, but I could certainly see it going either way. As Hubbard drops a pass there on 2nd and 8, could have made a pretty big play there. Could have done something pretty decent with what he had out in front of him, right? But nonetheless, man, 9 targets, 6 catches, 99 yards. DJ Moore, as my start of the week, looks good so far. Yeah, man. Hey. That's why we dropped those must-start videos, man. And yeah, that Steven's must-start for the week is DJ Moore, and for good reason, right? I mean, obviously he's balling out, right? And yeah, I mean, I expect him to have, like I said, at least 20 catches in this game. So 3rd and 8, Chuba Hubbard's on the field, not Christian McCaffrey, man. That usage looks like we've got a penalty. Looks like the Texans jumped off sides there. Richard Glass tried to get some DJ Moore stock this week, but could not pull it off. Wow, they're calling a false start on the Panthers, man. Let's watch this. Let's watch this replay. I think that's a bad call. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe he didn't cross. I always get confused with the false start versus neutral zone infractions versus offsides. I mean, okay, I guess we'll trust the refs there. But, I mean, we're rooting for the Panthers, right? So, of course, it's a bad call for us, right? And let's see here. Darnold dropping back, 3rd and 13. Wow, they're going to be a yard short. Finds Dan Arnold there. Yeah, Richard Glass, great attempt, says Steven. And yeah, man, definitely was a week to try and trade for him, with this matchup, right? And I mean, DJ Moore's strength of schedule on the season is ridiculous. This is something Steve and I talked about a lot in the offseason and preseason as the Panthers come out on 4th and 1. Very, very, very easy strength of schedule for the Panthers receivers. That's going to be a tough call on 4th and 1. It's going to depend on, I think the Texans might have stopped them. They're going to have to measure. It's going to depend on where they stop their progression. Man, this usage out of Hubbard's pretty interesting, man. I don't know if he got that. I don't know if that's a first down. Yeah, why is Christian McCaffrey not on the field? Are they giving him the first down? They're still measuring, right? Texans think they got it. I don't know, man. That's a tough call. We'll see. We're cutting a commercial, so we'll see what happens, man. Yeah, I would have loved to trade for DJ Moore. Yeah, this is a DJ Moore, guy that we talked about all off season and preseason, man. And I can't believe that I didn't target him, man. So many players that I look back on, those mock drafts that we did in August, so many things that I talked about. Then when it comes time to draft, man, it's just hard to explain. Sometimes you just you try to think outside the box, right? But DJ Moore, I mean, we knew the strength of schedule, right? I think a lot of it relied on our maybe individual faith in Sam Darnold. Maybe I got spooked there, man. Well, really, for me, it had the most to do with just wanting to go super running back heavy, right? Which I think is probably going to hurt me. We'll see in the long run, man. It's still very early in the season, but definitely hurt me last week. So, Real Goated, they said McCaffrey is in the injury tent. Don't tell me that, man. I'm not listening to the sound of the game, so if updates like that come out, definitely let me know, especially when it has to do with my guy CMC. So thank you, Real Gooded, for the update. But that we don't like that at all, man. That's not good. I mean, it definitely makes Hubbard. A guy who was on a lot of individuals' waivers in deeper leagues, right? Because we did see Christian McCaffrey exit the game last week for very briefly. So that's not good, but we'll see what happens here, man. We'll see what happens. But if McCaffrey is injured, then I'm going to be very, very, very upset. All right, Richard Glass. Thoughts on Tyson or Damian Harris in my flex? Listen, man, I like Damian Harris this week. The Saints defense is, pretty banged up as a whole. I like the way Damian Harris has been playing. He looks like a true lead back for the New England Patriots. He's scored, in week 1 and week 2. So I like where he's at a lot. And there was a turnover there on 4th down. Texans have the football. Panthers do not. But, yeah, and Steven hops in here. Tyson over Damian. Both great running backs, but love Tyson this week. I completely agree, man. I think that Tyson Williams against the Lions, the Lions are just giving up an absolutely ridiculous amount of rushing yards. Excuse me. We saw what Aaron Jones did to them last week. Just completely embarrassing. We saw what the 49ers committee did to them in week 1, right? I like this Lions team, from a football standpoint. I think that they are, fighting week in and week out. As Steven is now reminding me that CMC is hurt. Yes, we have figured that out. And yeah, now they're showing, oh, wow. It's a non-contact injury, too. You see that hop. Yeah, well, that's concerning, right, as a Christian McCaffrey owner. Sometimes you just have bad fantasy luck, right? And that's where I'm at this point in the season. But, Richard, I would start Tyson Williams. I like both of those running backs. I think it's very good you have both of them as, at your disposal, right? But I would roll matchup based with Tyson Williams. I like where he's at a little bit better. But Harris is a great man. He truly has. And I think the injuries to the Saints defense are important in that evaluation. But overall, man, Williams going to tear it up, man. They said CMC is out for the rest of the game with a hamstring injury. Well, man, fantasy is it's a tough game, man. Truly is. Okay, so that's it's not good for me. It's not good for Richard or Guy. But what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? That sucks, man. I'm sitting here talking about Christian McCaffrey having a monster game, and look what we get. I've been taking some L's in fantasy this year, man. Let me tell you. Philip Lindsay gets absolutely stuffed there. Yeah, I've been having some tough luck at the beginning of this fantasy season. But, wow, thank you, Real Goated, for the update, man. So at this point in time, I'm just looking for the Panthers defense to ball out. So that's about all I got left in this game, man. Yeah, that's bad. Playing Steven's dad this week in fantasy. This was one of the matchups that was, really supposed to help me out, right? Chris McCaffrey versus, oh my gosh, did I just throw a pick six in Madden? Okay, good. I was about to say, if I throw a pick six here and lose this game, it's going to be very bad. But, yeah, man. Wow, playing Steven's dad in our 12-man league. Good amount of crap talking there, not going to lie. And Chuba Hubbard might be the top waiver priority for everyone right now, man. Wow. I mean, hamstring injuries are not good, right? And yeah, that's a lot of fantasy implications right now. Let's see, Richard Glass. Well, hope for the rest of the roster to step up this week. Yeah, man, it's don't count a loss before it happens. But obviously, CMC is one of the guys that you're going to be depending on to get you, a fair amount of points week in and week out, right? Steven John wants to cry right now. I'm not far from it. Monday night we saw the debacle of Aaron Jones getting me one less point that I needed to win in my 20-man league. And now for the Thursday night stream, we see my best player get injured. So, we might see some tears on the live stream tonight. But, yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go, Steven. Well, my CMC bet for 100 yards just failed. Yeah. Steven had a active bet. Christian McCaffrey needed 99 yards combined rushing and receiving. So at least we get to laugh at Steven a little bit tonight as well. But wow, man. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is just out like that, man. Tough. Maybe he'll come back after halftime. Maybe they're wrong. I don't know. Incomplete pass there for our boy Mills. Brings up 3rd and 6. Richard Glass, I'm going to need that Pittsburgh O-line not to suck this week so Najee cannot suck. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, Najee Harris a little disappointing at this point in time, man. But nonetheless, Harris got hit hard. Oh, that's where they drew the penalty, right? Yeah. Yeah, Najee Harris, though, I mean, just a little underwhelming at this point in time, right? But I think he's still got a shot, right? Let's see. Bengals defense allowing the fourth highest amount of rushing yards. Sorry, someone over my words. But hey, Najee Harris had a pretty good game last week, man. I mean, yeah, I mean, his receiving work is really where he made up his bulk amount of points. So if you play full PPR, he had a good week last week. So, but yeah, man, I hear your pain, man. I think that the Steelers' O-line is going to look pretty good against Cincinnati. So I think he'll be all right, man. Do you think Lamar is going to play this week? Yeah, I do. Unless I'm unaware of anything, I don't think anything's wrong with Lamar. Okay, he's questionable, right? Out due to an illness, dealing with a non-COVID-19 related stomach bug. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about any of that, man. Especially at this early point in the season, there's going to be a lot of veterans who get that, that Q by their name in fantasy, right? Or the P for probable. And sometimes we'll see some of these guys missing practices, right? Maybe it's a stomach bug, maybe it's this or that. But uh, a lot of these veterans, they can set out different practices, right? Uh, so yeah, I think Lamar is going to be just fine. I think he's going to have a monster game versus the Lions. So yeah, man, I think you're good there. And Richard Glass, I think that uh, Pittsburgh O line will step up, and Najee Harris will look a little bit better overall. So Steven says Judy to now CMC. Who is next, John? Who next do you curse? Yeah, man. Everyone. I mean, I've been decimated with injuries, man. Uh, and a lot of these guys are the guys that I was really high on in the offseason. I mean, I think everyone was high on Christian McCaffrey, right? But Tua and Judy, both down for the count at the moment, right? Guys that are on, my rosters as we see a 3rd and 16 handoff to David Johnson, who just trying to get some yards back for the punt, right? Looking not too shabby for the Texans, but Carolina's got to do a little bit more offensively at the moment, right? Who knows who I'll curse next? Probably Daniel Jones. He's a player I'm like the highest on right now. So probably Daniel Jones would be my guess, Steven. It's hard to say. Richard Glass, my Najee/McCaffrey league is standard. Okay. Yeah, then not as good of a game last week for that of Najee Harris for you. Wow, did you guys just see that catch in Madden? Yeah. So yeah, that's tough, man. Especially in terms of Christian McCaffrey, right? It's where he gets a bulk of those fantasy points as his PPR value. Of course, he does provide pretty good standard scoring format as well. But yeah, we need Najee Harris to step it up for you, man. But I still think on the season, Najee Harris is going to have a good year. Sometimes for these rookie running backs, it takes a little bit of time to get them kind of rolling and kind of going. So I wouldn't sweat it too much, man. We're still very, very young in the season. Real good. How do you feel about Zeke and Kenyon Drake this week? That's a good question, man. I like both of them, right? I know a lot of people are kind of freaking out about Zeke, right? And, splitting carries with Pollard last week and everything. But, yeah, I like where Zeke is at always. I think he's a must-start no matter what, right? And, yeah, I mean, it's a relatively tough matchup, right, against Philly. But, man, you can't hate on Zeke, man. You can't bench him, right? I think he'll be all right this week against Philadelphia, and I wouldn't worry about too much about Pollard and everything. But yeah, I think we talked about this in the comments a little bit with you, my guy. But I like Kenyon Drake as well, man. We've seen in full PPR at least 10 points in week 1 and in week 2, and we don't expect Josh Jacobs to play here in week 3, and I think he has another good game, man, and maybe even a better game. As Miami looks good defensively, but overall, they sure don't look great. It's been kind of an interesting start to the season for them, right? So I like both those guys, and I think that from a PPR standpoint, Kenyon Drake looks very good at the moment. Steven says, love Kenyon Drake's opportunity this week, had decent game 2 weeks in a row, and has a favorable matchup. Yeah, I would 100% agree with that, man. I like Kenyon Drake a lot, man. Like from a PPR standpoint, and this was kind of like one of the things that you can't speculate before a season, but something that I thought all offseason, like where you can draft Kenyon Drake if Josh Jacobs gets hurt, then Drake is a fantastic a draft value where you can pick him, but you just can't go into a draft thinking about picking people based off of injuries, right? Although Josh Jacobs has a high history of injuries, something Steven brought up, but you guys know in the offseason, preseason, I was really high on Josh Jacobs, so I was on one train, I was avoiding the other, and I think at the moment, probably where you drafted Kenyon Drake, you got a really good value now that Jacobs isn't really out there. So 1st and 10 for the Panthers. A little bit of pressure. Yeah, I don't think Sam Darnold saw that defender. I think they're calling it an incomplete pass. I think they're saying he had the motion moving forward. So let's see the replay. They're going to say he was throwing it. Man, that's an interesting call right there. They might take a look at that. I'm not sure. Yeah, he did not feel that pressure from the right side whatsoever, man. Yeah, they're going to look at this, I think. Well, at least NFL Network is going to keep showing it to us. Okay, yeah, 2nd and 15 for the Panthers. So maybe they did call that a fumble, and it was just recovered by the Panthers. Once again, whoa. I don't know if that was a catch and fumble or incomplete pass here on. Wow, that was a weird play. I think they're calling it incomplete pass, so 3rd and 15. Yeah, man, the Panthers, they got to do something offensively, man. If they want to, man, eventually this Texans game could come out and break, or Texans offense could come out and break this defense, right? If you keep giving them the opportunity to. And this is a good test for Sam Darnold, man. Christian McCaffrey, not in the game, right? Yeah. We need to see how this offense rolls without Christian McCaffrey, right? So this is definitely an interesting matchup here. Screen to Chuba Hubbard. Can't stay on his feet. Oh, wow. We just got dogged in Madden, bro. I looked up and, wow. T. Higgins said thank you. Yeah. Man, this is a really good test for Chuba Hubbard, man. And not just Chuba Hubbard, but this entire Panthers offense as the Texans are hanging on in here, man. I'm going to see what leagues Hubbard is available in, man. Man, if you handcuff Chuba Hubbard, you're a genius right now, right? I mean, he's only got 2 fantasy points at the moment, which his best performance so far has been Week 1 with 2.4 performance or 2.4 points overall. So, flag down, and it looks like a muffed punt there, but it looks like the Texans recovered too. So let's see. I think Hubbard's available in all the leagues I play in. Let's see, man. Man, I just can't believe that. I can't believe Christian McCaffrey's hurt. Yep, Hubbard's available in both leagues. This is a good fantasy evaluation right here. How does Hubbard step up to the plate? How is he utilized, man? There's got a lot to say about this Panthers team, man. Why are they showing the replay of Christian McCaffrey? I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I can't believe that, man. 2nd year in a row. I mean, it's going to really depend on how serious this injury is, because this is the 2nd year in a row where we pick CMC #1 overall as a consensus, and he's hurt. I mean, obviously the talent is there. Obviously, he's the best player in fantasy football when he's healthy, man. But yeah, it's a tough call, man. I mean, are some of these other guys who are more durable worth the pick? It's hard to say, man. Truly is. I just can't believe it, man. I'm sitting here talking about CMC going off, and now I can think man, he's quite injured. So hamstring injuries are weird, man. They can linger for a long time, or they can be a one game and done thing. So I don't even know how many points he got us. Kind of wishing that he scored on that opening drive now instead of Sam Darnold. As we're having a bad game of Madden here against the Bengals, man. We got to step it up in Madden. So, yeah, I am going to check how many points did CMC get here. 5 points. I mean, we'll take the 5. We'll take the 5 points, I guess. Man, it just stinks, man. I hate seeing all these players get injured. I really, really do. Richard Glass, he's in my keeper league, and he killed me last year. Yeah, Steven, our co-host, had him in our primary league last year. Got pretty lucky. Added Mike Davis and really didn't miss a beat. And still got to start Christian McCaffrey whenever he was healthy. And, man, I think every game CMC was healthy in last year, he had at least 30 fantasy points in full PPR. So you're looking at 20 to 30 points regardless of scoring format. for Christian McCaffrey last year. So, uh, yeah, man, it's tough. If you didn't get the right replacement, it's tough. Steven won our fantasy championship last year, so he ended up doing just fine. But overall, man, yeah, it's always a bummer when you you have such a stud player that you're spending a ton of draft capital on, uh, and especially in keeper leagues, if it doesn't work out, that's painful, man. Steven, have you seen enough of Hubbard to burn top waiver priority on him, or does it matter because opportunity is there? It's a good question, man. Um, it's hard to say. It truly is. I think from an opportunity standpoint, it definitely makes sense. But we also need to find out how serious this injury is to Christian McCaffrey, as they're showing the replay of him going to the bench, or not to the bench, but to the tent once again, which is just painful for me. Now they're showing him walking. It's painful either way, man. Yeah, I think based on opportunity, Chuba is definitely worth the waiver pick. Definitely 100% worth it. But I haven't seen enough out of him tonight to make that decision. But the opportunity presenting itself is definitely. He's an RB1 right now. But like I said, we don't know how long Christian McCaffrey is out. And that's going to have some pretty big indications here as well. So Panthers defense still looking solid, man. But the Panthers offense got to do something, man. I mean, this is a huge test for the Texans, man. I mean, not for the Texans. I guess it is too, but for the Panthers, right? How are they going to play without Christian McCaffrey, who's really the as Rex Burkhead catches the ball there on third down, who's really the focal point of this offense, right? I mean, this is going to be interesting to watch, man. At least we have some sort of fantasy storyline coming out of my misery, right? So Panthers should get a 2-minute drill here, get a final drive here before halftime. Wow, first half of this game, this absolutely flew by. Holy cow, man. Yeah, I think that Chuba's going to have to be a top waiver pick. And truthfully, man, I don't think I'll get him the way the waivers are looking. And I guess it depends on, he won't be available obviously here in week 3, but for week 4, yeah, he's gonna be probably the top waiver addition at the moment, right? Gosh, that's a bummer. I don't know if I'm gonna end up with him, but I'm gonna need him in our 12-man league. I mean, luckily I went running back heavy, right? Gus Edwards gets he's out for the season less than 24 hours after we draft him, right? Now we lose Christian McCaffrey. James Robinson has been atrocious this year. I mean, I think maybe I took the wrong chances on a lot of these running backs. David Montgomery's been solid. I look for him to be my most consistent back as Robbie Anderson catches a ball or drops a ball is right in his hands. They should have caught on 1st and 10 there, man. Holy cow. This Panthers team better step it up because we know this Texans team has got some good mojo in them, man. So Sam Darnold's got to lead this team, got to cool it down here, right? But, man, what a blow. I think, not only am I cursing fantasy players, I think I'm cursing my own fantasy players with these live streams, man. But, we'll keep the live streams going, baby. You know what time it is for the Catch fan, man. But, all right, see Darnold dropping back, 2nd and 10, completes the pass to not Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, man, that's going to be the next question. Who's the other running back on this team? I don't know who 32 is. Should I know? Let me know in the chat. Man, all they're going to keep showing is like replays and clips of Christian McCaffrey as I watch him trot into the locker room. It's like they're rubbing it in my face, man. Richard Glass, I used a lot of my positioning this week to pick up Rondell Moore, so I am way down on the waiver wire. Yeah. I drafted Moore in my 20-man league, which worked out tremendously. Was a good pick, man. At least through the first 2 weeks, it looks like it was a good pick. He was my top waiver wire in my 12-man league, and I did not get him. but he was the only player that I had a waiver in for that I didn't get. I was really happy in our 12-man league with my waivers. Originally, I had a waiver in for the Panthers defense, and then Steven told me he had one, and he was higher up on the waivers than I was, so I just took it off. So thank you, Steven. Um, Something has worked to my advantage for once in our fantasy league. Uh, but yeah, I got KJ Osborne of the Vikings, who I feel really good about in half PPR and in full PPR. Maybe not necessarily in standard scoring, but in deeper leagues, regardless of scoring format, I really like what he's shown, right? And Kirk Cousins seems to trust him, and I think he's a tremendous wide receiver 3. And so I really like where he's at overall, right? And outside of that, man, I ended up picking up Daniel Jones, but he wasn't a top waiver target by any means. But I got Henry Ruggs, who I felt good about, right? I got KJ Osborne as well. And yeah, I added Daniel Jones. That's who I added after not picking up that of Rondell Moore. But I also got Quentin Cephas of the Lions, who at this point in time looks like a good PPR option and is the wide receiver 1 for the Lions. So, yeah, I mean, fantasy values there regardless of teams, right? So, yeah, I was really happy with my waivers. Got a lot of receivers right now, and I need them, man. But at the moment, I might be needing some running backs. So, geez, I don't even know. Wow, I might need more running backs. I need receivers as soon as I get my receivers sorted out. So, it's not good. So, all right, let's see. It's Crypt. I never wish any injuries on anyone, but a lot of weight on my shoulders since I'm playing, or weight off my shoulders since I'm playing against him. Yeah, man. Hey, I'm with you, bro. We never wish injury on anyone, right? As the Texans sacked the Panthers on 3rd and 2, how are the Texans the best coached team in the entire NFL? I mean, that's the way it's looking through 3 weeks now. Holy cow, man. The NFL is a weird place. But, yeah, it's Crypt, man. LO, well played. Says Richard Glass. Steven says he got lucky there. CMC was cooking early on. He had 1 point at the end of the first. I wasn't worried. Yeah. Hey, man, like I said, we never wish for injury, of course. But if it benefits you, it benefits you, man. And it's okay to admit when it benefits you. So good for you, man. We're happy to hear that on your side of things, of course, man. It's good to see you up in the live stream. Good to see you as always, and the live chat as well, my guy, loyal member of the Catch fam. So we're happy it's working out in your case, but for me, he was my primary RB1 in my 12-man league, and yeah, man, this Texans defense, they're showing some replays. They're not looking bad up front, man. So Panthers are going to have to punt here on 4th and 9. Panthers got to step it up offensively, man. Like I said, it's a good test for them, but if they can't play without Christian McCaffrey, that's not going to be good, because I think they've got some viable options. I mean, like I said, Steve and I really like Chubb Hubbard, right, in the offseason and preseason, and be interesting to see. The Texans got a minute and a half to try and do something here. And, I mean, I need them to not do something. That's all I've got left in this game is the Panthers' defense in my 20-man league. All right, guys. This is what we're going to do. I got a story to tell, right? I was going to make an individual video on this, and I might still, right? But we got to talk about my 20-man league, okay? So I've got Tua as my only quarterback on my roster, right? Not playing this week. We don't know how long this injury is going to last. We don't, I mean, he was day-to-day, fractured ribs, right? He's going to miss week 3, of course, right? Now it's been moved to week, right? We don't know exactly what to make of this, right? So I post in the message board, anyone with an extra QB, send me a trade offer, right? I'm willing to trade right now. I never trade in fantasy. You can ask my co-host, Steven. I have literally never traded before in my entire fantasy career. It's just not, I like to stand by my rosters, and I like to use the waiver wire. And I would hate that feeling of I shipped you a guy who I went out and had conviction on and drafted, and now he's on your team and he's balling out for you. And maybe I got the shit end of the stick, right? Although it could happen in the opposite fashion, right? But nonetheless, man, I got no QBs. So my opponent messages back in the message board and says, I'll trade you Carson Wentz. He's probable, but at least it's worth a shot. But it's going to cost you a running back. Then about 5 minutes later, he says, I just realized that you're my opponent. So I picked up Jacoby Brissett, who, other than Mills of the Texans, is the only starting quarterback available. And if you want a starting quarterback this week, it's going to cost you a running back. And he was basically saying, he then went on to say, I have the upper hand, and I'm trying to force a trade. So I'm sitting here like, holy cow, man. I'm getting like absolutely shitted on in the message board, right? Then I was getting some crappy trade requests. I was getting like Joe Burrow for Aaron Jones, right? Someone offered me Will Fuller for Darrell Henderson, which had nothing to do like with what I needed. So long story short, man, this is the trade I've settled on, guys. It's Trevor Lawrence for Darrell Henderson. My co-host Steven absolutely cooked me for this. But in the long run, man, I have to have a starting quarterback, right? And Darrell Henderson, as Brandon Cooks catches a huge first down there. Darrell Henderson's a little banged up. And people weren't showing interest in James Robinson. And Darrell Henderson's got some hard matchups coming up where Robinson doesn't, right? Aaron Jones is my other running back. I'm not getting rid of Aaron Jones, right? So at the moment, I'm fishing for Trevor Lawrence. And that's going through in the morning. So that's where I'm at in my 20-man league. So things have gotten interesting there. So let me know, guys. I mean, I know Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked great, but it's a 20-man league, right? Keep that in mind. And, yeah, I didn't get that waiver for Taylor Heineke. So after that, I was just basically screwed. I mean, I picked up Jacob Eason for like he's still on my roster. I'm dropping him. It should go through by Saturday. But I was ready to start Jacob Eason against the Titans, and then the Colts came out and said that they might split time at the quarterback position. So I don't know, man. Listen, all I need is a starting quarterback who's going to get me over 15 points every week. And I'm not confident in Tua on a week-to-week basis after this injury. So I think in the long term for a 20-man league, I think it's a pretty good injury. Or not good injury. It was a bad injury for Tua, right? I think it's a pretty good trade, man. And if anything, it's going to help me have depth at the quarterback position if and when Tua is healthy again. So that's where I'm at. And Richard Glass, I don't think that trade was too terrible. Yeah, man, listen, I knew I was going to have to give up some capital, and I wanted to offer receivers. I'm pretty deep at the receiver position, but nobody wanted receivers. And that's kind of the thing in a 20-man league is, especially it being full PPR, is every team has a lot of receivers for the most part. And you can play wide receiver 3s, wide receiver 4s in some cases, and still get pretty good value. So the running back and quarterback are the most scarce positions, right? Tight end, little bit fuller actually than the running back and QB position, right? But I'm telling you guys, I just want a starting quarterback, and I think that Trevor Lawrence has an opportunity to get better as the season goes on, although what we've seen has definitely scared us, right? I mean, realistically, as much as it pains me to say, Trevor Lawrence might have a better season than Tua would have had anyways. That's the Houston Texans. Touchdown, Anthony Miller. Yeah, man. Texans are taking the momentum out of this game. Mills throws a touchdown here, and maybe I should have started Mills. We'll find out, man. But nonetheless, Trevor Lawrence is going to be my starting quarterback, and I'm losing D10Ds. Moral of the story. End of the story, man. Unless I cancel the trade before tomorrow morning, that's where it's at the moment. So Mills scores a touchdown. We'll see how the rest of this game plays out, man. mean, Panthers on the road here. And that's a good drive by Mills as the Texans missed the extra point. No good on the extra point. But yeah, man, that's where I'm at. So Steven says trade scares me, man. I mean, I'm not going to say that it doesn't scare me. But you got to make some tough calls in 20-man leagues, man. And we only have 4 roster spots and an IR spot. So you got to make some tough calls. And it's a scary trade, but you just traded away Tom Brady in our league, which is also a scary trade. So I think trades are always scary because you truly don't know what's going to happen. That's what makes the draft scary, right? You don't know what's going to happen when you draft. Even the players you have the highest conviction on and are the best rated, right? At the moment, Mills has got 79 passing yards and a passing touchdown, just under 8 fantasy points. So we'll see how he finishes out the game in comparison to Trevor Lawrence, who's got the Arizona Cardinals. But hey, man, maybe I made the wrong call. Maybe I should have started Mills. But it's hard to start Mills in the same league that I've got the Panthers defense, who are now down to 9 points, right? If I'm rooting for the Panthers defense, hard to root for Mills as well. So that was another part of the equation, right? Steven, sucks that you got put in that spot. It does, but at the same time, I respect my opponent for what he did. Basically trying to force me to trade to him and also picking up Jacoby Brissett. I mean, I actually think Brissett's going to be a decent start this week. Looking back on it, I kind of wish I just picked up Jacoby Brissett because overall, the Raiders look good, but they haven't looked as good in the secondary. And I think Brissett's got a chance to have a good game. And Steve and I both like Jacoby Brissett, or the Brisket as we call him, man. And yeah, I think he could have a pretty decent game here. So looking back, I kind of wish I just picked him up as we see Chubbard picking up a first down off a reception here. But nonetheless, man, it was a tough call. But I'm trading with George, right, who's our commissioner of the league. I played in his league for 8 years now. And I basically just told him, like, look, dude, your running backs suck. I have a glaring problem at the quarterback position. I will help you out if you help me out. And I'll tell you guys this much. Von Miller trots off the field for us. Second injury on the year for the Catch Fam's Madden franchise for the Broncos, right? George is who stole Taylor Heineke off of the waiver wires for me. So he's starting Taylor Heineke for the rest of the season. And I gave a counter trade. I told him, I will ship you 2 up if you ship me a running back, right? So we're both, you're gaining, strength at the running back position and getting some added depth at the quarterback position. I'm left with just Trevor Lawrence, but then in turn getting another running back while I'm shipping you Henderson, right? And he didn't want to go for all that, but I tried, right? And as the Panthers fumble there, the Texans may have picked it up, but you know what, man? It is what it is. And it's going to be my first trade in my entire fantasy career ever, as Von Miller has a quadricep strain, Sam Darnold fumbles, and it looks like he recovers, right? What are the Houston Texans? What is this football team, man? Richard Glass, I have a lot of Henderson stock, and I think Michelle is going to take some work from him. Listen, man, I love D-Tendies. We are big fans of Darrell Henderson at the Catch Fan. He's one of our guys we liked a lot in the offseason as the Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers will trot off of the field. I like D-Tendies too, man. But yeah, we saw Sony Michel come in and play pretty well in relief of Darrell Henderson. And yeah, he's got the rib injury, as we're getting kind of decimated here in Madden, guys. He's got the rib injury, right? And it's a bad matchup this week against the Buccaneers. He's got some tough matchups coming. And, I think this is the point in the season where we will kind of find out how much is Sony Michel, going to cut into those carries, right? And, I think it was a good time to trade him. And, wow, that was a great catch by Tim Patrick and Madden. I would have liked to trade James Robinson, but I looked at the injury, I looked at the matchups, and I decided that Henderson was the better move. And with Sony Michel being there, right, I just decided that overall James Robinson's getting more work. I'm not in love with James Robinson at this point in the season by any means, man. Uh, but it is what it is, man. It's already over, and I need a quarterback. And I think it's a pretty good trade, all things considered, in a 20-man league as well. Steve and I agree. Richard, Michelle is a great low opportunity right now. Trade rise, or great buy low, excuse me, opportunity trade wise. And Steven says Texans are for real. Yeah, right now the Texans do look for real. Can't argue that, man. Really can't. I don't know, man. Texas defense is probably the most impressive aspect overall. And that little drive we just saw there wasn't bad either. But yeah, I mean, I was just talking about it, man. We need we need. I don't know. We need it, right? The Panthers need to do something offensively, man. And the Texans are going to steal the momentum out of this game completely, man. As Joe Burrow is 14 for 14 against us, man. But I mean, luckily for the Panthers, the Texans missed that extra point, right? So, but yeah, man, trading away Darrell Henderson. I'm getting Trevor Lawrence in my 20-man league. Still might put out a video on that just so all the Catch fam can get their opinions on that for those who couldn't join the stream tonight. As we're just watching replays of CMC getting injured at the moment, man. Gosh, what a blow. Seven rushes for 31 rushing yards, 2 receptions, 9 yards. So pretty good stat line, for those of you who did start him. All things considered, him going out early, man. Yeah, the Panthers got to step it up, man. They got to do something offensively, right? As, man, we're going to lose this game of Madden. Jeez. Yeah, man, I think that he's going to be a top waiver priority for everyone, man. I'd really eventually we're going to get an update on Christian McCaffrey tonight, then we'll get probably one tomorrow and through the weekend as well. And, yeah, man, we just, wow, what a bad play in Madden, man. Wow, Joe Mixon has been destroying us. But Hubbard's going to be the guy, I guess, man. It's crazy. It truly is, man. Yeah. He's going to be my top waiver claim in my 20-man league, I can tell you that much. Followed by my guy, Quentin Cephas, who I had to drop to pick up Jacob Eason, man. Things in my 20-man league have gotten weird lately. But whew, I don't know if I'm going to end up getting Hubbard in any of my leagues. Ian Rappaport, the NFL is tinkering with its super wild card weekend format. I'm told likely have it conclude on a Monday night. This means 2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, and 1 Monday with a broadcast partner to be determined. Fun change. That would actually be relatively interesting, I suppose. Wow, this Texans halftime show. Run DMC. I like that, man. Guess there's only, yeah. That's what's up, man. Okay, cool. All right. Richard Glass, I need Joe Mixon to play like that this weekend. Yeah, I hope he does for you, man. Not for the sake of our Madden franchise here, but I hope he does for you. Yeah, bad game of Madden there. Another loss on the season. We're still atop the division, so Joe Burrow has a perfect game against us, and Joe Mixon runs all over the place. Listen, man, I think Joe Mixon is he looks good right now, man. I think after week 1, everyone was kind of hyping on that hype train as usual, right? 25 points in week 1, only 8 points against Chicago, and he's facing a very good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So it's tough to say, man. He always has that big play capability. Luckily, you get a better matchup against Jacksonville in week 4, right? But the Steelers defense are allowing the 10th fewest rushing yards to running backs at the moment. No, I'm sorry. In 2020, they did, right? So I don't know the exact stat at the moment. But I certainly think he could still have a good game, man. But yeah, Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh, man. They are always going to look good up front, right? And I certainly hope for your sake he does play well as his season progresses, man. I mean, a huge week in week one, right? But kind of the game script benefited him, and Chicago looks good up front. So, but yeah, definitely not what you wanted to see out of him last week, I'm sure. But it's always scary when your running back's going against Pittsburgh, man. So we'll see what happens, man. But I hope for your sake it works out. I think that it surely could. So we'll see what happens, man. All right, so let's see here. All right, start another game of Madden. Let's get a sip of water. That first half just absolutely flew by, man. I mean, like absolutely flew by. All right, so I'm going to pull up my 12-man league and let you guys know who I am starting. I had Kamara and Mixon together in my big money league. Yeah, the Saints need to get Alvin Kamara more involved, man. I mean, he's RB 24 through the first 2 weeks, man. Um, they need to get him more involved, right? Only, in half PPR at least, only 5 points last week for Kamara, and New England looks pretty good defensively, so could be another tough week, man. But I mean, those are two guys, Mixon and Kamara, that you just have to start every week, right? So it's a tough call, man. Uh, Kamara needs to get more involved, right? The Saints need to be relying on him, right? I mean, it should be Kamara first, and then Winston throwing, right? I mean, I really don't see why it could be any other way. But that Saints offense right now, a tale of two stories, right? Week one, phenomenal. Week two, not so phenomenal. So we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, I would certainly hope that they get Kamara more involved. Not just for your sake, but for probably everyone's sake who drafted him, outside of weeks that our opponents have him, right? But also from from a football perspective, right? I mean, he's such a fun player to watch that I definitely would like to see him implemented a little bit more, right? But long season, man. Plenty of time for that to happen. So, okay, in my 12-man league, I've got Lamar Jackson versus the Detroit Lions. So, obviously, I love that matchup. I think he's going to have a great game overall. Christian McCaffrey, my RB1, got me 5 points. This is a half PPR league, so I guess we'll take that for the time being. And I don't think he's coming back, but a man can always hope, right? So we'll see what happens. But 5 points nonetheless. Hurts my projections, hurts my week. Very large sums overall. So David Montgomery's my RB2, and I love David Montgomery, man. This was one of my top players in the offseason and preseason. Someone I took in like every mock draft I did, right? Going up against Cleveland, he's number 7 right now on the season defensively. So, I think nonetheless we're going to see him implemented. And then, of course, the quarterback change, for the Chicago Bears really is going to affect things as well. So, do we see Justin Fields handing the football off quite a bit? I could definitely see a world where that happens, right? And I could definitely see a lot of plays that are going to benefit David Montgomery, as well as we know that Justin Fields is more of a dual threat running type quarterback. So, going to be an interesting game to watch. I mean, one of the 1 o'clock games, Chicago at Cleveland. So I'm definitely interested to see how that plays out. But I'm always going to be confident in starting that of David Montgomery. So right now at the receiver position, I've got Tim Patrick at the Jets in. He was questionable with a hip injury, and the Jets are actually the 3rd best team against wide receivers right now through 2 weeks, which is quite interesting. So I really like this Denver Broncos team. The way they've been playing through the first 2 weeks. And I like Tim Patrick as a start right now, but we'll go through my receivers. I've got quite a few options at the receiver position overall. So in my next spot, I've got KJ Osborne versus Seattle. Seattle looking actually like the 11th best team, versus the receiver position. So a decent matchup for Osborne. Half PPR league, right? He had 11 points in week 1 and 17 points in week 2. So at least 6 targets, at least 5 receptions in each game. He did have the touchdown last week, which really helped his stat line overall. But I like where KJ Osborne is at as a receiver. I'm pretty confident in starting him. I'm actually starting him in both my leagues. So yeah, I really like him as a receiver. So nonetheless, man, tight end position, I've got Mike Gesicki. This is probably the start that I'm the least confident in at the moment. And you guys know how I felt about Gesicki in the offseason, man. And right now, man, I mean, a goose egg in week 1, right? Which really, really upset me. And then in half PPR, just under 6 points in week 2. So, wow, that whole play got messed up in Madden there. But nonetheless, man, what I'm hoping for here is that Jacoby Brissett favors Mike Gesicki potentially and looks to him as a security blanket within this offense. And if that happens, I mean, the Raiders' secondary hasn't been really where they've been showing strength defensively. So I could see Gesicki playing well, and I got to leave him in my lineup at the moment. So that's who I've got, man. All right, flex position at the moment, I've got James Robinson, who's facing the Arizona Cardinals, who are ranked 11th against the run. So it's not a beautiful matchup. I mean, I've been hearing a lot about this matchup, right? 11 carries last week, 47 rushing yards, brought in 3 targets, or, all 3 of his targets, 3 receptions, for 17 receiving yards. So full PPR, it's a decent stat line, but here in half PPR, that didn't even garner us 8 points. So a lot of people like this matchup. This is one of the matchups I've been hearing a lot about in like must starts and things like that, right? And I mean, it's not a bad matchup. Carlos Hyde and that kind of experiment from Urban Meyer didn't really work out, or at least it looks like they're taking a step back from that. So I certainly hope that this is a better matchup. And then I've got Matt Gay at the kicker position and the Rams defense versus Tampa Bay. So obviously Matt Gay, the Rams kicker, as we see the third quarter here kicking off, right? And I kind of feel like with the Rams defense, they always have an opportunity to have a good game. Obviously, it's not a good matchup against Brady and company, but I'm just going to roll with them because I spent pretty high draft capital on the Rams defense, and I'm going to show some confidence in them here in week 3. Okay, at the receiver position on my bench, I've got Antonio Brown, right, who at the moment I can't start due to a COVID designation, as we see a first down here for the Texans, and smart play just throwing it away by our guy Mills there, right? So yeah, I've got AB, who I cannot start. I've got Henry Ruggs versus Miami, Corey Davis versus Denver, Quentin Cephas versus Baltimore. So I've got all those guys that I can switch Tim Patrick out with. Really, I like all these guys. It's really hard to make a decision. Then I've also got Javonte Williams at the running back position that I can flop James Robinson with. Williams going up against the Jets it's a pretty good matchup, right? I talked about him in my must-start video. This is a guy that I have confidence is going to have a good week, and he could certainly make it into my starting lineup. As we see, second down play, a big gain there by that of... I still can't remember who number 3 is on the Texans, even though he caught the touchdown earlier. But yeah, I like not J.D. McKissick. I like Javonte Williams quite a bit. He might make it into my starting lineup. Then I've also got Daniel Jones versus Atlanta, but we know we're not benching Lamar Jackson. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out in mine and Steven's 12-man league this coming week. But I've got a lot of decisions to make in that starting lineup. So Mills is 10 for 13, 89 passing yards, and a touchdown right now. I want to see how they start to implement some of these running backs. Philip Lindsay in the backfield, handoff to Lindsay. That's an interesting thing, man. The Panthers have looked good in the secondary, but they've looked much better up front. So can you rely on the running game here? I'm not sure. Richard Glass, I like Williams a lot this week. Yeah, I do too, man. I think he's going to creep into my starting lineup. And yeah, I'm not crazy about the James Robinson start. So I think that I'm going to replace Robinson with Williams. Second down pass here, Farrah Brown, big tight end there. Sheds a tackle, ends up turning that. Oh, that's Atkins, actually. Another big tight end, right? I like Atkins. Yeah, turns that into a better game than it should have been. But yeah, I think Javonte Williams against the Jets is a really good start, man. And he's seen really good usage, in week 1 and in week 2. So I think this is really the week where he can kind of step it up and put together what we think he's capable of doing, which is being a very, very talented running back in the National Football League. So 3rd and 2 for the Texans rolling out here. And can they do it? Yeah, man. That's a converted. That's first down. Yeah, Miller. I'm sorry. Keep forgetting his name. Miller is looking like the favorite receiver for our guy Mills, which is maybe something to take a note of, right? Let's go ahead and pull up. I don't think he's on anyone's team in my 20-man league. Yeah, Anthony Miller. He was healthy and active through the first 2 weeks, and now he's got 4 targets, 4 receptions, 20 receiving yards, and a touchdown. So in full PPR, he is looking at a solid 12 points at the moment. I guess you take away the touchdown, it's not the most beautiful stat line, right? But nonetheless, man, deeper leagues, as long as Mills is playing, he might be worth a shot. We'll keep evaluating that as the game goes on. Richard Glass, they open up the running lanes, so it opens up Cortland for me. Man, Cortland Sutton looking like an absolute fantasy steal right now. I mean, you guys know that Jerry Jeudy, who just caught a ball here in Madden, was my guy. So I wasn't really going out and targeting Cortland Sutton, but man, if you got Cortland Sutton, he's looking like an absolute draft steal right now, man. And I think he's only going to continue that. I think this Broncos team is going to be actually quite good throughout most of the season. They just have such an easy strength of schedule. But the thing is, right, that division is it's difficult, man, to say the least, especially the way the Raiders are looking, right? But yeah, I mean, I really like where the Broncos are at through the first 2 weeks. As we see incomplete pass by Mills, and now there's a flag on the field. And I think it's on, I think it's on Horn. We'll see here. I don't know about that call. That's not even a catchable ball. I don't know about that call, man, as Zach Ertz breaks his ribs in our Madden game. I don't know if that's a good call, man. Richard Glass, Teddy is looking really good as well. Yeah, I 100% agree, man. I'm all on the Teddy Two Gloves train, man. I really like where this Denver Broncos team is at right now. And as much as I like Teddy Bridgewater, man, I really am. It's really difficult to not speculate with how much talent's on this team. Got a lot of veteran presence on the defense, but also some of those young guys on the defense are really stepping up, and they look good up front and in the secondary. And then you look at this offense, the amount of skill position players, right? I think they've got 2 stud running backs between Gordon and Williams, right? You look at the receivers, they're freaking stacked when healthy. You look at the tight end and Noah Fant. This is a good team, man. And the O-line's good too as well, right? So it's really hard not to speculate that this isn't going to be a team potentially for a guy like Aaron Rodgers to look at next year. Because this team is absolutely loaded. And as much as I like Teddy Bridgewater, as our co-host Stephen Hobson says, Teddy looks like he is the real deal. It's just so hard not to speculate as loaded as this team is. As I accidentally just pulled Earl Thomas off of Hunter Renfrow and blitzed him, and that's going to cost us in Madden. Yeah, it's really hard, man. I mean, especially if this team could make a splash in free agency outside of a guy like Aaron Rodgers and get, a stud skill position guy, get a stud defender, whether it's up front or in the secondary or both, man. This Broncos team is could really save John Elway's career, right? As whatever he is, right? Is he the owner or is he the president? For some reason, it's slipping my mind what John Elway's actual title is, right? But this Broncos organization needs a boost ever since Peyton's retirement, right? They've been lost at the quarterback position, and it'd just be crazy, right? You bring in A-Rod, and you bring in some stud, other players at other positions, and this team is really primed overall already for a championship run. But nonetheless, man, let's give the credit to Teddy Bridgewater. He looks great through his first 2 weeks, and like Steven said, he looks like the real deal. And I certainly agree with you, Richard. He looks really good as well. The end. What is going on? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic night. Welcome to the Catch, man. Hope you consider becoming part of the Catch fam by hitting that sub button, man. But nonetheless, we appreciate the support. We appreciate you being in the live chat and here at the stream tonight, man. And let's see your question here. Is an injured McCaffrey tradable? Oh, I don't want to say no. It's just, I would wait and see how serious this injury is going to be. And I think either way you can consider it, but you just have to realize what you're giving up, of course, right? You're giving up, when healthy, the best player in fantasy football, of course. But even if it's a long-term injury, if he's going to be back for the playoffs, the fantasy playoffs, of course, he's probably worth holding on to, especially if you have an IR spot that you're not already filling. He's still Christian McCaffrey. If he's even just healthy for the fantasy championship and nothing else, then he's worth holding on to. But with that being said, what capital can you get for him, right? It's going to be dependent on his injury overall, because how much are people going to be willing to give up if we know he's not back until week 14, right? If it's a short-term injury, they could probably give more draft capital there, right? So it's a hard question to answer until I guess we know the severity of the injury, but I'm definitely not going to say no. It's a tough question overall, right? Because I do think that he's the best player in fantasy football when healthy, but now we're seeing a little bit of a durability issue with him, right? And points to injuries. So it's tough, man. Yeah, it truly is. And I don't want to say he's not worth trading, but that's I don't want to be the deciding factor if you trade him or not, right? Because we know what he can do when he's healthy, and I don't want you to miss out on that either. But if you can get the right capital for him, man, especially you're going to need another running back and a solid running back at that. But I would say if you get a solid running back and then another solid skill position player, or maybe you're hurting at the tight end position, and you're hurting at any other positions, quarterback position, and you can really bolster your roster, and you potentially feel good at the running back position outside of Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, I think you could consider it. So I wouldn't. Don't let me be the deciding factor. That's a tough one to boil down. So, but I don't want to say no. That's where I'll leave it at. I definitely don't want to say no. Let's see. Steven says, great question. Richard Glass, maybe you can trade Tua for him in your 20-man league. LOL. Yeah, I mean, I would take Christian McCaffrey for Tua at this point in my 20-man league. Don't get me wrong. Especially now that I'm supposed to be getting Trevor Lawrence. So, let's see. Steven, if this is a multi-week hamstring issue, I would look to get a multi-asset trade offer. I think Steven's hinting at me that he wants me to trade him Christian McCaffrey, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, if it's a multi-week injury, I actually agree. I don't think that it's bad to consider whatsoever, especially if it's going to bolster your roster overall. Like I said, if you can get another running back, or if you have positions of need, man, and you can get, I mean, you might be able to get 2 or 3 players, even if he's injured, right? Just because we know what he can do when healthy. So, yeah, man, I think it's something that you gotta consider. So, let's see. The end. My RBs are Chuba, Pollard, and Fournette. In that case, yes, I think it's worth looking to trade, right? Um, let's see. Hamstrings are one of the hardest injuries for skilled guys to come back from, says Steven. The end. I lost Etnine too. Yeah. That's, I mean, I think the advantage that you have is that you have Hubbard, right? So regardless, you're going to have, wow, good play by Mills. He doesn't complete the pass, but that was a good play to avoid the sack and or strip fumble and get that ball out. That was almost completion, man. Yeah, I think the advantage is that you have Hubbard, man. And you're hurting at the running back position. So, yeah, I think if you can get at least a solid running back that you trust, and it might be hard to get 2 running backs out of that, but if you can, that would be ideal, of course. But if not, if you can get another skill position player that you feel confident in starting on a weekly basis, then yeah, I think in your circumstance that it's definitely worth evaluating at this point, man. Yeah, it's rough, man. I've got Christian McCaffrey. I don't know if you also. Well, I'm assuming you also have Christian McCaffrey if you're asking if he's tradable. But that's my big news for the night. Is that's the player who I needed to perform the best in tonight's game, and he obviously has not performed. I mean, he got me a couple points, so we'll take it, man. But yeah, yeah, it's rough out here. But yeah, I think in your circumstance, he's worth trading. Yeah, it needs a hard injury too, man. And that happened. I mean, that could have happened after you drafted him, right? So I feel for you, man. I think you can start Fournette in full PPR with pretty good confidence, and I think, like I said, the advantage is you've got Chuba, and we're seeing good things out of Pollard at the moment. So that's going to help as well. But I would, yeah. I'm kind of shifting, man. I'm kind of wanting to tell you that you should definitely trade Christian McCaffrey, but just keep in mind what he can do when he's healthy, right? And now I'm considering myself, should I put Christian McCaffrey on the trade block? Because I'm pretty deep at running back. I was much deeper post-draft, having Gus Edwards there. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, David Montgomery, James Robinson, had Gus Edwards, who's no longer there, of course, and then I've got Javonte Williams, right? Chuba Hubbard's going to be on the waiver wire. I don't know, man. I might have to consider trading Christian McCaffrey. What's up, Ryan? Hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you in the chat. Good to see you in the live stream, as always, man. Hope you're doing fantastic. As it looks like you are, man. The trade to get DJ Moore has worked out great so far. Yeah, big night for our boy DJ, man. And I'm glad that the trade worked out, man. Glad that we could help you out there. It's always good to get that feeling, man. As we try our best here at the Catch, man. We make a lot of good calls, but you never know, man. Never know in fantasy. Never know with football, and we get calls wrong, man. Don't get me wrong. But when we get them right, it feels good. So happy to see that worked out for you. Of course, man. Always happy, to see any of the Catch fam doing well in fantasy overall. So Steven says, haha, big time Ryan. DJ Moore is an absolute stud. Yeah, he's balling out tonight, man, against the Houston, Texas team that's hanging in there, man. The end. Nice. You have him too. What do you think we can get for him? Haha. John, I'll give you Alexander Madison for Christian McCaffrey deal. Yeah. No one wants Alexander Madison, Steven. I don't even know why he's on your roster. But, yeah, man, listen, I think you can potentially get what I was talking about, a starting running back and another skill position player, or if you need a quarterback or a tight end, right? I think that it's possible to snag one of them as well. But I would look to get 2 skill position players, unless you truly, truly need a running back, right? As you see, 1st and 10 here for the Panthers. But as you agree with Steven's deal, yeah, man. Okay, I think you can get 2 players for Christian McCaffrey, even if he's out for multiple weeks. How are the Texans still so much in this game? Man? What is going on? Let's see, with and without Christian McCaffrey. So with Christian McCaffrey averaging almost 8 yards per play, and then without averaging 2.9. Talk about MVP value to your team, man. All right, let's see. 2nd and 9 for the Panthers. DJ Moore gets another reception and should pick up the 1st down. If not, it's going to be a 3rd and 1. Yeah, DJ Moore might have, like I said, he might end up with 20 catches tonight, man. All right, Ryan, I have Alexander Madison as a handcuff for Dalvin Cook. Yeah, don't get me wrong, man. He is as good of a handcuff situation as you're going to find in the league, as we do know that Dalvin Cook does deal with some injuries, pretty often, right? But and I think that's definitely why Steven has him on his roster as well, as the Texans stuff Hubbard at the line of scrimmage. Jeez. But yeah, I mean, I like. I mean, it just goes to show tonight, right? If you have Hubbard on your roster, although the the Panthers aren't performing very well, still feel pretty good about the opportunity to have a running back number 1. So that's always the situation with these handcuffs, right? I don't know, man. I'm just blown right now. I'm the more and more I'm starting to think about this Christian McCaffrey thing, I'm starting to lose my trains of thoughts. It's Sam Darnold scrambling here for a couple yards, man. Looking for the flag, gets it. Whoa, weird playing Madden there. But let's see, Steven Madison may be a starter sooner than later. Cook is always hurt, and he's already banged up his ankle. That is a tough injury for a back leaning on his explosiveness. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree, man. Steven always holds out for handcuff situations. He always has 1 or 2 on his roster, which I'm not against, man. I'm not against by any means, but I also don't like waiting on injuries from other players, so I get kind of torn with that, right? But tonight's a prime example of why handcuff situations can work out, right? As soon as one of those players goes down, next man up becomes extremely, extremely valuable, right? And yeah, man, I think that wow, what is happening in this game? What are the Panthers doing, man? Anyways, I'm not trading Christian McCaffrey for Alexander Madison, in other words. But thank you, the end, for hopping in here and making me speculate about a Christian McCaffrey trade, because I think it's definitely worth exploring. And I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I've never traded before this fantasy season. My trade for Trevor Lawrence in my 20-man league is the first trade I've ever done in my entire fantasy career. And now I'm sitting here thinking about another trade. As DJ Moore makes a tough catch on 2nd down there. DJ Moore is just going absolutely off, man. Gosh. I got to pull up DJ Moore's stat line here, man. Yep. 15 points week 1, 21 points week 2. Right now, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 20 points, 126 receiving yards here in week 3. Guy we talked about a lot on this channel in the offseason and preseason. I mean, I know I didn't draft him, right? But nonetheless, man, a guy we talked about a lot is Chuba. Or that's not Chuba Hubbard, man. Who is number 32 on the Panthers? Freeman. Is that Royce Freeman? from the Broncos. That is who it is, right? Let me know if I'm right on that, guys. But Freeman looks all right out here too, man. No knock on Hubbard, but they're two very different types of running backs. But Freeman looks all right as well. Ryan, my RBs in my league are Dalvin Cook, Antonio Gibson, Myles Gaskin, and Tony Pollard. That's pretty good, man. That's a pretty good squad, honestly. I mean, we want to see more out of Antonio Gibson, who we were really high on in this channel in the offseason. With his scoring capability that he showed last season, right? And Steven owns him in our 12-man league, and we need to see more out of him, man, as he hasn't looked fantastic through the first 2 weeks. But nonetheless, man, I like where Dalvin Cook's at the moment. Myles Gaskin's been an interesting back so far. I just don't know if I'm sold on the Dolphins, which is weird, right? Because I was in the offseason and preseason, right? He only saw, excuse me, my voice cracking. He only saw 9 touches last week, right? Or actually 5 touches, excuse me, and then 9 rushing attempts in week 1. 5 receiving targets in both games, 5 receptions week 1, 4 receptions in week 2. So a little bit more valuable as a PPR back. But if it wasn't for those receptions, he'd be looking pretty abysmal. Hasn't found the end zone once, right? So it's not good. Salvin Ahmed has been playing pretty decent. He led the Dolphins in carries in week 2, right? But that's not saying much, right? He only rushed six times. So it's I don't know, man. It's an interesting groups of backs. And Tony Pollard's a good situation to be holding on to and I think observing from afar at the moment. So I like where you're at, man. Obviously you're going to be starting Cook week in and week out. And I like that you have Madison there as well to kind of complete that kind of handcuff situation, right? But yeah, Gibson, as Steven is saying, is tough owning him. How sad are you? Full PPR, 11, just under 12 points in week 1, and then around 9 points in week 2. 20 rushing attempts in week 1, 13 in week 2. So he's still getting the usage, right? And then at least 2 targets in each game, right? He's still getting the usage that we want, but we haven't seen him score. If he had found the end zone, at least one of those games, right, you'd be probably feeling a lot better. And that's what we need to see out of him. If and when we see him scoring, as we see a catch here, woo. But good first down here, catch by Erickson for the Panthers. If we see him get in the end zone, then I think that he turns into a much more valuable running back on the season, and that's what we need to see out of him. And I think that we've got a good shot at seeing that progress as the season goes on. Let's see. Richard Glass tried to trade away Gibson today, and I was told no thanks. And Ryan, I'm not sad about Gibson. It's only been 2 weeks, so I think those are 2 very good perspectives, right? Kind of what I just touched on. There's a lot of time for Gibson to turn things around, and I really, truly think that he can, as we see a direct handoff to, was that Ian Thomas? No, who is 82 on the Panthers? Tommy Tremble. Tommy Tremble gets a touchdown. Okay. Man, I think there's certainly a lot of time for Gibson to turn things around. And it's a great point, Ryan. I mean, it's a small sample size, man. And I really can see him turning this season around and a lot of fantasy owners being happy with his performance. Stephen, good. That's what I want to hear. Eventually he will get those TDs. I am still hopeful on Gibson. Yeah. And listen, man, we had kind of that weird play where they threw J.D. McKissick in at like the 2-yard line for no reason in week 2. That should have been a touchdown for Gibson, right? It was kind of strange to see McKissick used there. But don't forget that Gibson scored 11 touchdowns last year. I like where the Washington football team is right now. I don't think that they lost a lot of value with the injury to Fitzpatrick. I think that Heineke is just as good, if not better, at the quarterback position. So, man, I think we got plenty of time for Gibson to turn things around. And, for you, Richard, I wouldn't be too upset, man. I think he's still an okay running back to be holding on to at this point in time. So I wouldn't sweat it too much, man. Richard, okay, gentlemen, I'm off to play some Diablo 2 before bed. See you next time. Hey, man, thanks for joining the stream as always. Thanks for being part of the Catch fam, man. We appreciate you coming through. And go enjoy that Diablo before you hit the hay, bro. I mean, we ain't going to hate on you wanting to go play some Diablo 2, my guy. So, good night, man. Always good to see you, brother. See you next time, man. And remember, saw it here on the Catch. But, yeah, man, as we are just decimating the Raiders here and Madden, bro. Outside of Antonio Gibson, who are some running backs that have disappointed you guys thus far in the season? Because for me, it's hands down James Robinson, bro. I mean, what are you doing, Urban Meyer? I mean, Robinson was a top 10 running back last year. This is a guy that won fantasy championships for people. This is a guy who looked amazing last year, right? And what are you doing, Urban Meyer? Give Trevor Lawrence a break. Take some pressure off of Trevor Lawrence, right? And let James Robinson run the football, and let us fantasy owners who took Robinson in the 3rd round and expected him to be a true RB1, let us feel some grace, man. I need James Robinson to step it up, man. I would rather have Antonio Gibson right now than have freaking James Robinson, man. But I think there's time. Like I just talked about with Gibson, I think there's still time for that of James Robinson to turn this season around, and for the Jags to turn the season around for that of James Robinson. So we'll see what happens, man. And Steven is shouting out great game in regards to Diablo 2. And yeah, man, Diablo 2, fantastic game, right? Really, let me know. I mean, Steve and I are both big Madden guys. We've played Madden very consistently the whole time we've known each other, since we met each other in 2nd grade. I hate to admit it. I have every Madden, I think, right here next to me on this shelf. I've at least got, I've got 2002 through 10. No, I've got Madden 99 through Madden 10, and then I get a break. I've got Madden 16, 17, and 18, and the rest I've got downloaded off my Xbox. So, yeah. But outside of Madden, what are some of your guys' favorite games, man? I think Steve and I would have to put Warzone in there, man. I mean, getting, during COVID and everything, getting all the boys together on Warzone was like one of the best gaming experiences I've had in my entire life, man. And I had to personally quit Warzone because I got pretty deep into some COD, man. And it's a fantastic game. It's had its issues, but it's just so addicting, man, and it's so time-consuming. And really, when I knew I was going to start a YouTube channel, which I started a different channel before this one that actually played some COD on, but nonetheless, this channel has gladly taken a lot of my time, and in school full-time, work full-time, got a lot of things going on. Pregnant wife, little baby girl on the way, right? Not really a lot of time to be sitting around playing a Warzone, right? And it's very time consuming, but nonetheless a fantastic game, as is Diablo 2. So let me know, what other games you guys have been playing the past year or so, and what are some of your guys' favorite games? Steven says, playing Madden right now, and Herbert is killing me. Yeah, I can't wait, man, until we can get Steven up in the live stream. We can play some games of Madden against each other, so I can show you guys how much better I am than Steven at Madden. As the Panthers bring the rush, they take down Mills on 3rd and 6. Going to be Panthers football here, so we'll see what happens. I need the Panthers to cause turnover here. I need to see some turnovers in this game, man. I don't know, man. The Panthers got to step it up here, man. I don't want to say they can put this game away if they score here, But they need to get some points on this drive, as they did not play very well post Christian McCaffrey injury there in the first quarter. Really didn't do anything at all. They gave up those points right before the half. So Panthers got to come out and prove something right here, man. They've looked pretty lethargic offensively up until that last drive, and outside of DJ Moore, right? So, see what happens, man. I'm really just watching. Excuse me, guys. Apparently, I'm yawning, but really just watching this running back situation, seeing who's kind of emerging here, right? Steven did confirm. We've got Freeman out there, right? But I like Hubbard. I think this is definitely going to be your main guy, right? I mean, we're going to see some other players get some touches here. We're going to end this Madden game as we just beat up on the, not on the Panthers, on the Raiders there. But yeah, I just want to see how Hubbard evolves in this game, right? I mean, the Texans are, as they stuff him here, he fights for about a yard there. I mean, good toughness, good run, man. But what is up with these Texans, man? I think they just have to be the best coach team in the freaking NFL the way they've been playing. Jason Kenobi, what is going on? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic night. Welcome to the catch. Welcome to the live stream, man. Just hanging out, watching some Thursday Night Football, playing some Madden, doing some fantasy Q&A, man. Hope you consider becoming part of the Catch fam by hitting that subscribe button down below. But nonetheless, fam, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you being in the live stream, man. Always good to see a new face here at the Catch as we see 2nd and 8. Big little scramble here by our guy, Sam Darnold, and a flag down on the play. But Jason Kenobi, first of all, man, I love the name, man. Shout out to all of our Star Wars fans out there. I love the name, man. Good stuff there. But what do you think about potential Aaron Jones and Evans for Kupp and Montgomery? Ooh, man, I like that trade. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Listen, man, I love Aaron Jones on the season, bro. Don't get me wrong. But if you're new to the channel, my guy, I am huge on David Montgomery. I think he's going to get you a consistent RB value week in and week out. I love David Montgomery. One of the players I was the highest on coming into the season and going into drafts as well. So I like the swap there. But what I like more out of the trade is Kupp over Evans, right? I was pretty high on Evans coming into the season. I still like Mike Evans, but I don't think he's nearly as consistent as what you were going to get out of Cooper Kupp, the way he's looking right now, man. So don't get me wrong. I love David Montgomery, and I think that Aaron Jones might have a better season overall than Montgomery. But I can still see Montgomery finishing as a top 5 back and easily a top 10 back. So I think the trade-off is you might get a little bit weaker at running back, but you might also get more consistent, right? I mean, what we saw out of Aaron Jones last week and what we saw out of Aaron Jones week 1 are two very different stories. And what you're going to get out of David Montgomery is a little bit more consistency, if you're asking me. But yeah, man, the way Cooper Kupp is playing, I can't not tell you that you should trade for him, right? And that's kind of the thing with Mike Evans is you just don't get a consistent receiver. He has these games where he's going to get in the end zone once or twice. He's going to have some really big games, right? Some really big catches, right? But he's also going to have games where he looks more like a decoy, where, Godwin as well as AB when healthy and Gronk are going to be the guys who really benefit. So, yeah, man. And you said this PPR, by the way. Yeah, I still like the trade, right? And obviously, Jones is more of a PPR back overall than Montgomery, right? But if you're asking me, I think it's a good trade overall. And like I said, I think you get an immediate upgrade at the receiver position. Still a very consistent running back week in and week out. So let's take a look, man. Why not? Aaron Jones, week 1, 4 points, right? And this is a full PPR league that I play in. So 5 rushes, 9 rushing yards, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 13 receiving yards, right? Week 2 of obviously an incredible stat line, right? 17 rushing attempts, 67 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, and 3 receiving touchdowns. So the PPR value is tremendous, but he's not going to do that every single week, right? And when we're looking at David Montgomery, right, I love David Montgomery. I might be biased, right? But still, I mean, 16 rushing attempts in week 1, 108 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, only 1 reception, right? Week 2, 20 rushing attempts, 61 rushing yards, and then 3 receptions for 18 receiving yards. So less PPR value in David Montgomery, but I just think on a consistent basis, he can bank on 10 plus points, right? Jones is going to have those games where he finishes under 10 points, but then he's going to have those incredible games too, right? And then when we're looking at that of Mike Evans, man, it's kind of similar, right? 5 points in week 1, right? 6 targets, 3 receptions, 24 receiving yards. Week 2, 5 receptions for 75 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. He plays his best games against very poor defenses, right? But man, I think where you're seeing the tremendous value in this trade is with that of Cooper Kupp, man. 23 points in week 1 and then 36 points in week 2. Okay. Week 1, 10 targets. Week 2, 11 targets. Week 1, 7 receptions for 108 receiving yards and a touchdown. Week 2, 9 receptions, 163 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Man, I do not see Cooper Kupp slowing down this pace whatsoever. It's a tough call, but I do think it's a good trade, man, and I would definitely consider it. But don't let me be the deciding factor in your trade, man. Trust your gut, trust your conviction, man. And but I would definitely say that it's a pretty good trade overall. Weird 1st and 10 play there. Panthers get stuffed, man. Little trick play. DJ Moore, Sam Darnold threw the worst block thing I've ever seen from a quarterback. But of course, try not to get injured. Just kind of put his hands on 54 there. But man, I would love to have Cooper Kupp on my fantasy squad right now. Any of my fantasy squads. But I will say I might be slightly biased because I do love David Montgomery so much. But yeah, I think it's worth a thought, man. As a follow-up, I have Bobby Trees. Is it a bad idea to have both him and Kupp? Bobby Trees is Robert Woods, correct? I'm following correctly. I believe so. Listen, it's not a bad idea the way that offense looks, right? I mean, Robert Woods, week 1 and week 2, right around 12 points, right? 4 targets week 1, 9 targets in week 2, right? Better stat line in week 1 with the receiving touchdown, right? It's not a bad idea, but just keep in mind, if the Rams have a bad week offensively, then yes, you run some risk if you run both of those players, right? If the Rams have a good week offensively, then you run the opposite. You have a great value, right? So I don't think it's one of the offenses, one of the few offenses like the Cowboys, right? The Buccaneers, where you can play, a couple receivers and not feel bad and not feel scared because they're going to perform offensively week in and week out. But on those weeks where you do see the offense take a slump, it could potentially hurt you. But I think this is one of the offenses that it's okay to take a gamble at having both their receivers, right? So I don't think that you necessarily need to worry right there, man. Let's see. Cassius Stylus, what is going on? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the catch. Welcome to the live stream. Just hanging out. Thursday Night Football, you know what it is. Playing some Madden, doing some fantasy Q&A. So hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic night, and hope you consider becoming part of the Catch fam and subscribing to the channel. But nonetheless, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate that love and support and you being in the live chat and the stream. So let's get to the question. Would you trade Barkley for Kelsey in PPR RBs are Barkley, Jones, and Montgomery. Yeah, I would. I absolutely would. And I like where Barkley is at this point in the season. I think things are about to start to come together for him. I think he's going to have a good matchup here in Week 3 against Atlanta. It's going to be very telling of what we should expect to see out of Barkley moving forward. But nonetheless, I really like Montgomery, so I'm very, very biased to having Montgomery as a true RB2 on top of Aaron Jones. But nonetheless, Travis Kelce is the best player at his respective position in the entire league. His value is unprecedented. I mean, yes, I think that's a great trade looking at the running backs that you already have. I would be interested to see who your other tight end is at, and I would also be interested to see what other running backs you have on your squad outside of Jones and Montgomery, possibly on your bench, right? But yeah, I think that's a good trade because you're getting Travis Kelce. I mean, 25 points in Week 1, just under 24 points in Week 2 in full PPR. At least 7 targets in both games, 76 receiving yards in Week 1, 2 touchdowns in Week 1, and over 109 receiving yards in Week 2, and 1 touchdown in Week 2. I don't see those numbers changing whatsoever, barring any injury. If you were asking me, I would definitely consider that trade very, very strongly. One of the trades that I would recommend more than other trades I've seen in recent times. So, Cash Stylist, welcome to the stream, of course. Welcome to the catch. And yeah, I think it's a fantastic trade overall. As we are seeing the Panthers start to drive here, Chuba Hubbard getting a few yards here on 1st and 10. Looks like they're moving inside the goal line. All right, let's see here. Steven, Bobby Trees and Cup are a rare exception where you can have both, but man, Cup looks like he is both the PPR and touchdown value guy this year. Yeah, definitely don't disagree with that point whatsoever. Jason Kenobi, I'm looking at the Rams' schedule. I see a lot of shootouts and a lot of bad/hurt secondaries. I will probably lose Week 11, though. Yeah, man, I think the way that this offense is ran, you're going to have the potential to have 2 very solid overall values week in and week out from a PPR standpoint. Yeah, the bye week might hurt you Week 11, but I think through the waiver wire, potentially through your bench, you can still have 2 starters at the receiver position. But man, if it's garnering you enough points on a regular basis, it's okay to forfeit 1 game, man. As long as it's not a playoff game or a game that's going to decide your playoff fate or the championship, it's okay if it's getting you to that point, right? Having those guys on your team, that is. So I would consider that trade as well. I do think it's a good trade. As Steven says, trade for Kelce for sure. This is coming from a guy who just traded for Barkley. Catch Stylist, appreciate it. My bench running backs are Damian Harris, Kenyon Drake, and Tyson Williams. Steven says, geez, your running backs are stacked. Catch Stylist, appreciate you guys subbed. My tight end was Tanyan, by the way. I would trade for Kelce all day, and we appreciate that love and support. We appreciate you becoming a member of the Catch fam. And yeah, we appreciate you just being in the stream nonetheless, but we appreciate that sub 100%. But yeah, your running backs are loaded, and the fact that you now have Tanyan and Kelce, I think you're set. I would definitely take that trade 100%. Williams has a great matchup this week. Damian Harris is playing great, and Kenyon Drake is looking like a fantastic PPR value, especially with Josh Jacobs being hurt. So I would 1,000% take that trade. I would put it in right now before whomever you're trading with considers backing out, if they are considering it at all. And it looks like DJ Moore may have gotten hurt on that last play, guys. So that's a big update out of this game. If Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore go down, that is very bad for the Panthers. Very, very bad. And we just dropped Terrace Marshall Jr., someone who I had a lot of conviction in drafting, who could see a major, major uptick in targets for this Panthers team, who still has a very, very, very weak overall strength of schedule at the receiver position. Robbie Anderson is going to get a boost too if both CMC and DJ Moore are down. That is huge if he's hurt long term. We'll continue to monitor that. All right. Let's see. Heck XXX. What's up? Hello. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic night. Welcome to the catch. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to some Thursday night football action. Some Madden, which we just kind of have cooling in the background while we do some call-outs of the football game and we answer some fantasy Q&A. So hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome to the catch, man. Hope you consider hitting that sub button, becoming part of the catch fam. But nonetheless, we just appreciate you being up in the hizzy, up in the live stream, in the live chat. Let's see. Cash Stylist, I did well in drafting this year. If I do trade Barkley, my team would end up being Kyler, Jones, Montgomery, Keenan Allen, Cup, Kelsey, and Julio. Trade the shit out of Barkley. Get Kelsey on that squad. Great overall roster. Get Kelsey on that squad. Get rid of Barkley. You don't need him, man. Fantastic roster. Shout out to you. Great job drafting. Get Kelsey on that squad. I'm officially saying it. You don't need Barkley. You don't need Barkley, dog. Get Kelsey on that squad. And great job drafting, man. Absolutely loaded. Awesome to see. All right. Heck XXX. Can y'all help me with my flex? Of course we can. You need one player to start in the flex position. Okay. Tyson, Harris, Pollard, and Rondell Moore in PPR. Okay. I'm assuming that's Najee Harris. He's got an okay matchup this week, right? He played pretty well overall last week as well. I would stay away from Pollard, and I really like Rondell Moore. I think that's probably a waiver wire pickup for you. I think that's a great pickup. But, man, I cannot tell you to not start Tyson Williams in the flex this week, man. Against the Lions, who got absolutely shredded in week 1 against the against the 49ers. I'm sorry, the 49ers, right? Elijah Mitchell's coming out game, right? Absolutely tore them up. Then last week we saw the embarrassment that Aaron Jones handed the Lions. And, man, I know there's a couple other running backs in that RB room. I know that Lamar Jackson is a factor, right? But I would start Tyson Williams with full confidence. Talked about him today in my RB, or not today, but earlier in the week in my RB must-start video. And I think that he's a fantastic start overall. I would feel really good about having him in your lineup. But, I'm sorry. I see now Damian Harris. Yeah, I think Damian Harris is a decent start. The Saints, defense is a little bit banged up, right? And but nonetheless, they look better up front than they do look in their secondary at the moment. And I really like Damian Harris overall on the season. I would definitely keep him on your roster. But at the moment, man, I feel best about advising you to start that of Tyson Williams. And I think he's going to have a really good game. Right? I'd be highly surprised if we saw him not perform well the way that this Detroit Lions defense has looked against the run game, and I mean, of course, against the pass game as well. And I think Tyson Williams is the right call there. So, yeah, I really like Tyson too, man. Yeah, I'm glad. I would start him with full confidence, man. I think he's going to have a really good outing here in Week 3. The only worry I would have, would be if maybe the Ravens get up too early in this game and they don't need to lean on their starters. But the way the Lions have been playing, they're hanging in these football games, man. And they're making the other team work for those victories, right? As our guy Mills, good pass to Brandon Cooks there. 1st and 10 for the Texans, still holding on in this football game. So we'll see what happens here, man. But yeah, I would roll with Tyson Williams all day, man. I mean, the matchup's just too good. I think the Ravens are going to have a really good week overall. And I've got Lamar Jackson starting against the Ravens in my 12-man squad. I feel really good about that matchup. Another first down to Brandon Cooks, man. He looks good right now. But nonetheless, man, I'm really now I'm just remembering that Christian McCaffrey's in my 12-man league, and I'm going to need some good plays out of some other players as he only garnered us 5 points. But Mills is looking pretty good here. Another pass to Brandon Cooks there. Jason Kenobi, do you think I should deal Jones and Evans or Jones and Woods? It's a good question. I'll say this much, man. I like the trade either way because I think Cooper Kupp is too good right now to not consider trading for. I don't mind the idea of getting Woods out of the picture if you're bringing Kupp in. Um, the problem, I actually think on a consistent basis, Woods is better uh, than Evans. But I think what Evans does is if he gives you that consistent big play availability to where we're going to see games like we saw in week 1 and we're going to see games like we saw in week 2, right? It's kind of interesting because Montgomery and Woods are kind of mirroring each other, and then you've got Jones and Evans kind of mirroring each other in terms of how their play style is, right? But yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to try and get Woods out the door, and then that gives you more, solidification in week 11, right? If you're worried about having your two starting receivers out of the picture, as Brandon Cooks picks up another first down for the Texans. But yeah, man, I think if you want to consider Evans there, it's completely okay. But it's a tough call, man. It really is. Let's see. Heck, XXX, thanks for the advice. Absolutely, man. That's what we're here for. Not a problem at all. You don't even have to say thank you, man. We just appreciate you being in the stream and being part of the Catch fam, man. And that's all we ask for, man. So no worries whatsoever, man. It's really fun to put together these streams and all these videos that we've been doing for the past 2 months or so. So we just appreciate the support nonetheless, my guys. So Jason Kenobi, I have Brady if that matters. I mean, yeah, you've got a consistent quarterback week in and week out. And if you're looking, in terms of getting those dual points between Mike Evans and Tom Brady, then yeah, it's hard to drop Evans. Listen, man, at the end of the day, if you ship Robert Woods, right, you're still winning because you're getting the better receiver on the Rams, right? And regardless of if you decide to ship Evans or not, you're getting Cooper Kupp. And he's the better receiver out of all three of those guys at the moment, right? And I think that stays consistent throughout the season. So I think you're still winning the trade, and I think that you're getting a good handoff at the running back position, right? I'd be interested to see the rest of your roster at the running back position. But yeah, I think he'll be all right regardless of what receiver you end up shipping. But yeah, I like the idea of getting those kind of double, dip points between Evans and Tom Brady. So and that kind of gives you more clarification in Week 11 in terms of holding on to two starting receivers as well. So, yeah, man, I don't think that's a bad idea whatsoever. Ooh, I just threw a very bad interception to Madden. Man, Mills hanging in there tough, takes a tough hit, trying to scramble. Ooh, takes a big hit. Oh, did they call the flag on that? Way that helmet hit him, I'm not sure. Oh, they didn't. Yeah, 4th and 10. Hey, man, give it to the Texans. They're hanging in this game, man. I was expecting a little bit more out of the Panthers tonight, man, defensively. I mean, offensively too, but definitely defensively, right? Let's see. They're giving me... They're down to 8 points right now. I don't know if that's with or without the field goal. Let's see. Yeah, that's with the field goal. Yeah, I was expecting some turnovers. Let's see how Mills is looking, right? I mean, I could have picked up Mills in my 20-man league. 11 points. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to beat myself up over that. It's still time for him to get a better stat line. But if he gets 20 or more points tonight, then I'll feel kind of slighted on myself. But let's see. Jason Kenobi, I don't have much depth at running back. My other starter is Zeke. I still think you're getting consistent running back, and the value that it's adding at receivers, as long as you can manage the running back position and try and get some guys. I mean, right now, right, you can look at Chuba Hubbard on the waiver wire, but as long as you can, running back's that position on the waiver wire week in and week out throughout the season that you just have to monitor. But It's tough to give up Aaron Jones, but I'm not afraid of having Montgomery on top of Ezekiel Elliott week in and week out. Uh, I would still consider the trade, man. And I like Zeke. I still think he's going to have a very good season, although I know he's been, to some people, relatively disappointing thus far. I still like where Zeke is at, and I think Zeke and Montgomery, and then Evans as well as Cooper Kupp with Tom Brady, it's a pretty good lineup, man. I wouldn't feel too bad there at all. All right, Jason Zhao, what is going on? Hope you're doing well. Uh, Thanks for coming to the stream tonight. Thanks for joining the catch, man. We appreciate you being out here. Just chilling. Thursday night football, call-outs, playing some Madden, fantasy Q&A. You know what time it is, man. So some dropped Robbie Anderson. Is it worth to pick him up? If so, who do I drop on my bench? Higbee. I also have Pitts, Damian Harris, Tyson Williams. I have Gibson and Cook or Antonio Brown. Well, listen, man, we need to monitor this injury to DJ Moore. If it's serious, then yeah, it's absolutely worth picking up Robbie Anderson. He's going to see a major uptick in targets. He's going to be a true wide receiver one for this team. And then we would presume that Terrace Marshall Jr. would step up as the wide receiver two, who, I went out and drafted in my 12-man league and have just dropped this past week, of course. But yeah, I think he's worth looking at. Man, I think you have a tough call to make at the moment, man. If you're asking me, truthfully, I would look to drop one of those tight ends. I really would. I think that they're the least valuable at the moment. And I think we're getting an update here on DJ Moore, but I'm not watching the game with sound. But he's definitely hurt. So if you need the depth at receiver, man, I mean, it's always good to have depth at the tight end position. But looking at those running backs, and you have, let's see, Godwin, Ridley, Hopkins, and Ceedee. Tough calls, man. Because right now you've got good receiver depth. You've got good tight end depth. I mean, Kyle Pitts looked much better in week 2, right? He's got plenty of time to break out on the year. Tough calls for you, man. Glad you came out to the stream so we could at least try and think this through, man. Yeah, because that's really tough. I mean, my initial thought is drop one of the tight ends, but you want depth at tight end too, man. And those are two pretty high-profile names, and I'm sure you spent a heavy draft in or draft capital. Gosh, that's a tough call, man. I like where Robbie Anderson's going to look as he just catches the ball as I look up. He's going to be a true receiver one, depending on this injury to DJ Moore. And now with CMC going down too, man, it's tough, man. Really tough. Man, you might have to consider Antonio Brown. I think that's the weakest player out of those guys because he's not a receiver one. He's going to have weeks like we saw in week 1, but he's going to have weeks like we saw in week 2. Right now he's on the COVID list. Hey, man, can you put Antonio? Do you have a player on your IR spot? And do you have an IR spot? Because if you can put AB on your IR spot for now and pick up Robbie Anderson, that might be the call, right? But I do think that Antonio Brown's the player worth dropping there regardless. So that's a tough call, man. That's one of the tougher calls I've seen. So thank you for the question. But I would either move AB to IR, which keep in mind, if he does get off the COVID list, if and when he does, right, you won't be able to pick up any new players on the waiver wire until you clear them off your IR spot. So presumably you'd have to drop one of those players still. But I think he's the least valuable player on your roster. You've got a very, very good roster. So, yeah, man, good question. That's a tough one, man. But I think AB's the least valuable player, or you drop one of those tight ends and one that you're least confident in. But I don't want to hurt your tight end depth either. So that's a question we could really sit here and think about for quite some time, man. So thank you for the question. We appreciate that, my guy. Let's see. Chase Brown, I traded for CMC, and I am so sad. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I've got CMC in my starting lineup in my 12-man league right now, so I'm very sad as well. So James Martin, hey, what's going on, man? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream, man. You know what time it is, bro. Thursday night football. We're just chilling in here. Oh, DJ Moore's back out on the field, man. But he didn't. Yeah, okay. He's just rolling around. He's fine. So I don't know, man. Maybe you don't need to pick up Robbie Anderson. To our guy James Zhao, right? I think your receivers look pretty good, and I like where AB is. It's a tough call, man. But if you have to drop someone, I would drop AB. I think Anderson still sees an uptick with just CMC down. So that's still where I stand with my answer, even with DJ Moore being back out there. Okay. James Martin, I'm down CMC. Welcome to the chat, man. Of course, welcome to the catch. Welcome to the catch fam. Hope you consider hitting that sub button, man, becoming a true member of the catch fam. But nonetheless, we appreciate you out here. Sorry to hear that you are down CMC, as I am also down CMC. I need a top 24 running back. I have Jamar Chase, Jefferson, Robert Woods, Tony Pollard, and Drake. Who can I trade for? My RB2 is CEH, and he's trash. I mean, right, potentially you can trade for anyone, right? Some good trade options at the moment, man. I actually like where Antonio Gibson is at the RB position. Potentially you can trade for anyone. I mean, a lot of people are looking to get rid of Antonio Gibson, which might be a clean trade if you just offer up Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? I think CEH should be part of your trade overall, as people are, especially rosters that are deeper at the running back position, are willing to take a swing on him, right? So I think he should be part of your trade. But yeah, it's kind of hard question to answer. Excuse me, as you can really trade for anyone, man. But when looking at running backs right now, it's hard to say, man. It truly is. Let's go ahead and let's think about it here, right? I mean, Saquon is on a lot of trade tables for a lot of people. Najee Harris or Joe Mixon might be good options, as DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery are two other guys who might be good options for you as well. So I would kind of look to those couple of guys. I mean, especially DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery we're seeing thrown up on the trade block. And that of Saquon Barkley is a good place to get right now. I think he's about to really take off for the season with this really good matchup in Week 3 and coming back. I think starting to get fully healthy. So I would say Barkley, Montgomery, and Swift are good options right now, and realistic options. I would look to ship Clyde Edwards-Helaire, especially if you don't have confidence in him. I'd be interested to see your full roster, but I think you could probably consider shipping Jamar Chase at the moment. Definitely I would hold on to Robert Woods and Jefferson. And man, if you've got someone out there who's high on Tony Pollard, I'm not so sure we're gonna see what we saw last week on a consistent basis. He might be a good running back to throw in there as well. But I would hold on to Kenyon Drake, who's presented really good PPR value overall, man. So that's a good starting point. But let me know overall what you need to if what you need me to elaborate more on overall there as well. And then don't forget about Chuba Hubbard, who should be on the waiver wire as well. So Chase Brown, my team is Josh Allen, Zeke, CMC, Keenan Allen, Tyler Boyd, Fant, Julio, Panthers D, and Q at kicker. My bench is Herbert, Deontay Johnson, Mitchell, Pollard. Should I keep Boyd and Julio? I would hold on to Julio at the moment. I think Deontay will miss. And if both him and Mitchell is healthy, do I swap for either Boyd or Julio? Overall, with that roster, I think Boyd is the weakest player. I would hold on to Julio's. Chuba Hubbard just dropped a touchdown in the end zone. I'm just looking over your roster real quick. And James Zhao, I see that you do have an IR spot. You could put AB on there for now and pick up Anderson, but like I said, just keep in mind that you won't be able to make any waiver claims if he's on your bench and healthy. And then to move him back onto your bench, you're going to have to drop another player. So just keep that in mind. But I actually think, looking at your full roster, that AB is the weakest player, as Freeman makes a leap for the end zone. I don't know if he got in, man. We might have to look at Royce Freeman in some deeper leagues too, on top of Chuba Hubbard. They're going to give Hubbard the opportunities, but yeah, Freeman did not score there. So let's see. Chase Brown. I think Deontay will miss, and if both him and Mitchell are healthy, do I swap for either Boyd or Julio? So I'm assuming that Mitchell. Yeah, Elijah Mitchell. I would consider dropping Boyd at this point in time in the season. If you need to drop someone that is, or if you just need, or if you want to go out and make another waiver claim, right? I mean, he had a good week in week 2. Let's not get twisted, right? 7 receptions, 73 receiving yards. Week 1, 3 receptions for 32 receiving yards. But looking at the rest of your roster, I think he's the weakest player on your roster. Okay, I'm sorry. If Mitchell plays, do I swap him for Julio and flex, and swap Julio for Boyd for wide receiver 2? Leave Boyd on bench. Okay, sorry, I wasn't really clarifying. I was telling you to drop a player when you don't necessarily want to. Sam Darnold goes for the QB sneak, and I think he's going to get it. Yeah, he gets the touchdown. I don't know if I like how we saw Chuba Hubbard utilized here in the goal line, but it's going to be he's still just the opportunity. He's going to give him top waiver priority, I think. So it looks like the Panthers may have put this game away. We'll find out, man. Man, Mitchell is an interesting player to swap in this week. I just am not fully confident in this Niners backfield, man. Going up against Green Bay, right? They've held opposing running backs to about 75 rushing yards per game. Even if he's just slightly injured, I think it hurts his value because of the way that Shanahan utilizes his running backs, right? So I wouldn't start. I don't think I would start. I would start Julio is my final answer. And you're saying, sorry if this is confusing. It's all good, man. You don't need to apologize whatsoever. I'm just trying to make sure I get you the best answer possible. I would keep Julio in the lineup, man. I like what we saw out of Julio in week 2. I think he's a good start this week against the Colts, man. 18 points in full PPR, 6 receptions, 128 receiving yards, and some people argue touchdown that shouldn't have been. That was bogus, right? Should have been a toe tap touchdown, right? So he could have had an even better stat line. I would start Julio this week, man. That's where I would roll at the moment, man. But thank you for the question. If you need more clarification, please let me know, man. But no worries at all. James Martin, I have CMC, CH, Robert Woods, Jefferson, Noah Fant, Jamar Chase, Kenyon Drake, Tony Pollard, Zach Moss, Devontae Parker, Myers, Osborne, and Will Fuller and IR. Have to move him off to get rid of one player. I was thinking about trading Woods and Drake for A.J. Brown and throwing in my RBs until I find out about CMC. Yeah, I think that's a good idea too. But you could also potentially just drop Devontae Parker. Is probably the other call that you can make there if you don't want to get rid of that many players, right? Especially if you're going to show confidence in Will Fuller, then you don't really need another receiver on that team. So I would consider that, but if not, I don't mind that trade of Drake and Woods for A.J. Brown if it's going to help out your roster. But I also think with CMC going down, it might be beneficial to hold on to that of Kenyon Drake at the moment. So I would consider just dropping Devontae Parker at this given time. Or quite honestly, even Zach Moss, who I'm not completely sold on, who we just saw kind of get thrown in there on those goal line plays, right? So I don't know if you have to trade away that talent, because I think Robert Woods is going to give you similar value in that of A.J. Brown. I think that Drake might be beneficial to your roster at the moment. So I would consider maybe moving away from Zach Moss or Devontae Parker before you drop or before you trade two players who have pretty good value overall. So that's where I'm at the moment. Michael Chap, what is going on? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the catch. Hope you're doing fantastic. Hope you're having a great night. Hope you consider becoming part of the Catch fam and subscribing, man. But nonetheless, we appreciate you being up in the hizzy here on Thursday night, just chilling with the Catch fam. We appreciate the support nonetheless. So let's see. I need some help. I have Herbert, and frankly, I'm regretting it right now. He's average at best. If I can't trade for him and a number one for or NA 1-for-1 for Hurts, or if I can, should I do it? He's a great QB and just seems off this year, and I think Hurts has a lot of easier matchups as Steven comes in. Hurts looks really good and always has high floor due to rushing. If he outplays Herbert this week, it could be a move. Michael, the only issue, says Michael, is that I also have Keenan Allen. Do you think I should try and make the trade and just let Keenan Allen do his thing? He's been great this year. It's just Herbert who can't score touchdowns. Yeah, I think you should consider trading for Jalen Hurts, man. I don't think it's a bad move whatsoever. Listen, I will say that I think some of Justin Herbert's issues have been chalked up to kind of poor game script, right? I don't disagree that he's been average at best, but I think he's got better days ahead of him throughout the season. Good matchup this week versus Kansas City, another good one in Week 4 versus Las Vegas, right? But I like where Hurts is at, and I like his upside as well, man. And he's got some good matchups coming up against Dallas, Kansas City as well. And full PPR, the scoring format I'm looking at, my 20-man league, 31 points Week 1 for Jalen Hurts, and in Week 2, 23 points. So I think it's a good straight-up matchup, and I wouldn't worry about Keenan Allen. I wouldn't worry about potentially getting those double-dip points, right? It's going to be more beneficial if you can just, have that of Jalen Hurts performing well on a consistent basis and Keenan Allen performing well on a consistent basis. So I think if you can do the straight-up trade, I think it's a good trade. I truly, truly do. So, yeah, that would be my answer, man. I do think that it's a good trade overall. So let me know if you need me to embellish any more on that or anything, man. But nonetheless, man, appreciate you being up in the live chat. Appreciate the question as well. And yeah, man, I mean, like I said, I think most of it for Herbert is chalked up to, overall game script. But it's frustrating, right? I mean, I had Herbert last year as my primary QB. And he has these games where he's just not necessarily lighting it up. We saw that, more towards the end of the season, right? And, I don't think it's a bad trade to try and go out and get Jalen Hurts. So that's where I'm standing at the moment, man. I'm just ending this game of Madden as we're beating up on Justin Herbert's team. Cash Stylus, I'd actually stick with the Allen-Herbert duo. It has only been 2 weeks. One was a tough defense, and the other was kind of a strange game with the touchdown call back. That's fair. And yeah, I mean, it's still a small sample size. I'm not going to argue with that whatsoever. And like I said, you can definitely chalk it up to the specific matchups that the Chargers have seen and the game script overall. So I'm not going to necessarily argue against that. But I would say it just goes back to what player you have more conviction in, right? If you're going to feel more confident with Hurts as your starting quarterback, then maybe it's worth going ahead and making the trade, right? Wow, good throw by Mills there on 4th down, but they don't get enough. Looks like the Panthers are going to put this game away. But yeah, man, it's a good argument, and it's a tough call overall. But I would just trust your gut instinct, and really, when it comes down to trades, that's what you have to do, right? you just got to show conviction in the guys that you want on your roster. But also keep in mind that we've got a small sample size, guys. It is a great point. It does really matter overall. Steven, Keenan Allen is going to have a great rest of the season. A lot of positive regression going his way, and keeping Allen allows you to keep a piece of the Herbert connection. Yeah, it's a great point by our co-host Steven up in the chat, doing some modulating. Rushing QBs are more valuable in fantasy. Michael, this is a hard one, LOL. Cash Stylist, I do get where you guys are coming from, though. True, whatever makes you feel most comfortable about your team, I'd go with your gut. Seems you want Hurts, go get him. Yeah, I accidentally just, once again, simulated our final game of the season there in Madden, and we lost. But now that we're in the wild card, so maybe if we'd won that game, we still won the division. Now we're facing the Chiefs. Why is it not letting me? Maybe I need to upgrade my players? I don't know. It's saying that I can just advance the week. I'm not sure. But yeah, I know you guys don't really care about Madden. Nonetheless, yeah, it's a tough call, man. Steven just made a big move to trade. Oh, here we go. Play wild card play. It's getting late, so yeah, we'll probably try and wind down the stream, and maybe we'll play half of this game, and then we'll wind down the stream as Thursday Night Football is ending pretty soon here too. But yeah, man, Steven just traded Tom Brady and DJ Chark for Saquon Barkley and Josh Allen, which was a really tough call for him as well. So, especially when you're dealing at the quarterback position, I'd be interested to see, Michael, if you have another QB on your squad or not. But nonetheless, it's going to be a tough call, right? I just traded for Trevor Lawrence, and I had to trade Darrell Henderson in my 20-man league. So it's tough, man. It's definitely tough when you're considering the running back or not the running back, but the quarterback position. Excuse me, overall. So yeah, I hope that we helped you somewhat go through that decision, but it's going to be a really tough call overall, man. I like both those quarterbacks on the season. I do. I still like both those guys on the season as a whole from a fantasy perspective. But definitely a very, very tough call overall. All right, let's hop into the final moments here. We got Thursday Night Football winding down. We're going to play half of this Madden game. So get your guys' fantasy Q&A going, man. Anything you guys have for the night. Looks like Mills and the Texans couldn't quite pull it off, man. And nonetheless, I think we expected this. But, man, I mean, we saw DJ Moore get kind of banged up in this game, man. And Christian McCaffrey got injured. So this may have not been the most entertaining game to watch, may have not been the most exciting game, but this is a big game in terms of not only fantasy implications, but football in general, man. This is going to hurt this Panthers team, man. We hope that DJ Moore, I mean, we saw him get back out on the field, but nonetheless, man, this changes a lot for this Panthers team, right? We hope it's a short-term injury for CMC, and we'll get an update video out tomorrow, hopefully. If we have an answer, I'm assuming we're going to have an answer tomorrow, but if not, we'll get one out as soon as we can for you guys on that of Christian McCaffrey, right? Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway from this whole game. CMC is hurt, right? I mean, there is no bigger storyline coming out of this game. Steven says, Herbert and Allen combo is a studly combo. Can't blame me liking it. By the way, how much are you loving Kyler? Phew, he is a machine. Yeah. I talked to Steven about this, man. I really do wish that I picked Kyler Murray with my third pick in our 12-man league, which would have been the third round, or even with my second pick, right? In the second round, I had back-to-back picks because I had the first overall pick, which is Christian McCaffrey, right? I think Kyler Murray is just, I think he might be MVP. And once again, small sample size, of course, but overall, man, Kyler Murray may have been worth QB1, right? May have been. I mean, we don't want to hate on. We never hate on Patty Mahomes in any way, right? But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out for these quarterbacks, and I could certainly see, our guy Kyler Murray really being got a good chance to be the QB1 on the year. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I waited a little bit longer and I rolled with Lamar Jackson. I mean, if Kyler had fell to me in the 4th/5th round as I had those back-to-back picks, right, I definitely would have taken Kyler. I called him out during our live stream, right, and said I wanted to take him in that round, and then he got picked, right, before I even had a chance. But, I mean, I still think Lamar is going to have a really good year overall. Steven says, how did the Panthers defense only get me 8 points? I'm pissed. I'm with you, man. Started them in the 20-man league. Thought it was going to be an elite start on the week, man. Steven, the Texans always ruin me. Yeah. They haven't been giving you good graces lately, man. And they injured Christian McCaffrey. So, yeah, they ruined me as well. But what are you going to do, man? It's been an interesting start to the fantasy year. It's been an interesting year overall. And, yeah, man, it's rough out here, bro. I don't know what to say, man. It's been a tough fantasy season to call overall, but we will progress. We will certainly progress, man. Can't believe that. I mean, last week I lose by less than a point. Only needed Aaron Jones to do anything else than he did, just something more. I mean, he had an incredible game, right? I guess I can't be mad. Tua gets injured last week, right? Jerry Jeudy gets injured in week 1. Gus Edwards gets injured before the season even starts. I've had some pretty rough go these first 3 fantasy weeks. I'm surprised I've won one game in each league, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, man. And now we get CMC to top it off. I'm really hoping that I want to check. I mean, I highly doubt we have any update, right? But we're going to check nonetheless, because why not? Let's see. This is from 2 hours ago, so I don't think this is going to be anything worth our time. Yeah, this is nothing new. Yeah, man, it's rough out here. For those of you having a beautiful fantasy season thus far, I'm very, very happy for you from the bottom of my heart, but I'm a little worried the way things are shaking out. I mean, I'm going to have to put a lot of faith in Trevor Lawrence in my 20-man league, which is fine, as I was already putting a lot of faith in down at Tua, right? So we'll see what happens, man. But this is the time of year where you're really going to start to understand your fantasy team as we move closer to week 3 and week 4, right? And I don't know, man. I think the way I'm starting to meet my fantasy team, I'm getting a little worried here. So both my fantasy teams, that is, right? So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this Texans team, I mean, they didn't play tremendous tonight, but they played a lot better than I think people were expecting, and that's really been their story all year long. Is they're competing right now. I mean, they're 1-2, man. You know, there are 0-3 teams out there that people are putting in better conversations than the Texans. So I think overall it's surprising to see how the Texans are playing, and I wouldn't stay sleeping on them at the moment, man. As we fumble here in Madden, looks like it could be a potential scoop and score. And my entire team is going to be, who is 83 Beck on my team? I guess it's got to be a tight end. Wow, awful play. So this is a playoff game here in Madden, so we'll see what happens with the rest of this game. And I was repeatedly pressing the A button, and all that happened was we fumbled. Now my whole team is tired. So, good summary of Madden for those of you who don't play Madden. That is, every time I look over at the TV screen, I'm just seeing Christian McCaffrey's face as they are really, yeah, I've just seen replays of the injury, man. It's just NFL Network rubbing it in my face, man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And now we're facing injuries here in Madden, which is okay. What are you going to do in Madden, man? It's just Madden. At least it's not fantasy. But yeah, if you guys have any final fantasy Q&A, we're winding things down as Thursday night football has ended, and now we're coming. I'm just going to play a half of this playoff game in Madden, and we'll see what happens for the rest of the night. Big takeaway, of course, like we've been over, Christian McCaffrey injured. I was really worried that DJ Moore got hurt there for a second there. Truly, truly worried, man. I don't want to. I hate injuries in general. They just mess everything up, right? But also, I mean, that's your two best offensive players in one night for the Panthers, right? Yeah, that's all they're talking about here at NFL Network post game is Chris McCaffrey's hurt, right? So. Chuba Hubbard, I guess, at the moment, top waiver priority, but we still want to see how serious this injury is to that of Christian McCaffrey. So don't jump the gun too quickly, but that's probably going to be our top waiver priority at the moment. I was really worried it's about to fumble there in Madden, as I still do not know how to slide in the latest Madden. So, but good win by the Panthers overall. They look very good defensively, right? And the front seven looks legit, right? These receivers looked good tonight. I want to pull up, what did Terrace Marshall Jr. finish at? Not a good game for Robbie Anderson, man. He's looking a little shallow overall. So let's see where, because we dropped Terrace Marshall Jr. in my 12-man league. A guy I went out and drafted as having a potential breakout rookie year. 6 points, so he's improved here. Gets Dallas and Philly in the next 2 weeks, but still not tremendous. And part of that came with CMC being hurt and DJ Moore going out for a bit too. He's had a red zone target. He had 2 in week 1, and he had 1 tonight. So I mean, it's not bad, but and I mean the strength of schedule is overall very, very easy, right? But overall, man, let's pull up Robbie Anderson, too. Let's see where he's sitting. I mean, he looks worse on the season as a whole in comparison to Marshall, who, I mean, Anderson had that big play week 1, had a good week 1, but he hasn't had a single red zone target all year. He wasn't in anywhere close to the red zone when he scored that touchdown in week 1, right? So maybe a little concerning if you're a Robbie Anderson owner, as it looks like at the moment Terrace Marshall Jr. looks like the better receiver, but neither of these guys are really going to have too much value outside of full PPR. So, but yeah, I mean, we did see some good things out of Marshall Jr. tonight, but I guess that's kind of your next man up outside of Freeman and Hubbard, right? Probably the only implications coming out of this game, right? So, I think that Marshall, in deeper leagues especially, is worth a look right now. And then, yeah, we just have to monitor this running back situation. We have to monitor the actual injury. Oh, wow, I just pressed the wrong buttons in. Apparently it didn't matter, because that's how Madden works. But, yeah, let's pull up. How did Freeman finish on the night, man? Let's see. 5 rushing attempts, 17 rushing yards, target. He should have scored a touchdown if he didn't, right? He fell like flat on his face. Let's pull up Hubbard overall as well. Let's see here. Chuba Hubbard ended up with 10 points. I mean, I think this has got to be, let's see, 11 rushing attempts, 52 rushing yards. Yeah, and he's still going to present PPR value, right? 5 targets, 3 receptions, 27 receiving yards. So I think Chuba's the guy, and if you play in a much deeper league, I think Terrace Marshall Jr. is worth considering as well. Let's see. What's up, Tron? Just dropped Robbie. He is trash this year. If he doesn't have that play in week 1, would have had 2 games with less than 2 targets. Picked up Mooney from the waivers. What is up, Tron? Hope you're doing well, man. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the catch, baby. Hope you are doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic night. And yeah, man, I think Mooney's a good pickup. We've got a running inside joke here with shouting Mooney's name at the catch. But yeah, I mean, we've both been high on Mooney. So yeah, I think it's a good pickup at the moment, man. And yeah, I think that's a good call. I think Anderson might see some better volume now that CMC is down. But like we were just talking about, I think Marshall Jr. has been performing better than Robbie Anderson has in terms of PPR and red zone targets. So I don't think it's a bad drop. And I think that Mooney's a good replacement at the moment as well. Let's see. Steven Probasmart, move Tron. DJ Moore seems to be taking all his targets, and offenses involving Marshall quite a bit. Yeah, I don't disagree with our co-host Steven there. As Dylan says, thoughts about Hopkins this week. My thoughts are you start Hopkins every single week, no matter what, but regardless. Welcome to the catch, man. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Thursday Night Football action as we are getting ready to wind down just a little bit. Man, as the game has ended, we're getting into the end of our... maybe we'll play this full Madden game if you guys need me to stay up for just a little bit longer. But nonetheless, man, if you're not already part of the Catch fam, hope you consider hitting that sub button, guys, and becoming part of the Catch family, man. But yeah, if you're asking me... he's playing the Jags, and he's DeAndre Hopkins. So I think it's a beautiful start every single week, and I think it's a even more beautiful start this week against the Jaguars as we're getting a pick 6 with Richard Sherman here in Madden. Oh my gosh, I went down at the 1 yard line. Holy cow, I can't believe I just did that. I'm going for it, I guess. Wow. Please score. Oh my god, threw an interception. Yeah, it's getting late. It's getting late, guys. Okay. Wow, I should just kick the field goal. Wow, that may be the play that determines... Yeah, we're kicking off. Oh, God. Should have taken the points there as I accidentally fell down at the 1 yard line. Madden is so frustrating. Okay. Steven says, great point there. Can't let one big splash play hold you back. Need to read between the lines. So great analysis on your part. Yeah, I completely agree with her humble co-host Steven there. Hopkins may break every record known to mankind against the Jags. He may break so many football records. He may get hungry and break the hot dog eating record against these Jags. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Thanks for bringing some flavor to the chat, Steven. Dylan, thanks. I was just worried because of his injury and him missing practices. Yeah, listen, man, at this point in D-Hop's career, right, a lot of these veteran receivers like DeAndre Hopkins, they can miss practice whenever they want, you know. If they have to sit out, a lot of these times they're just maintaining their health for the entire season. It's a really long season, right? So I wouldn't feed too much into that, man. He's one of those receivers who's going to line up on a consistent basis week in and week out. Man, the Jaguars are giving up 200 yards per average against receivers. He's dealing with the rib injury, right? But the coaching staff is expressing confidence that he's going to be out there, right? And yeah, they'll probably... he might not practice tomorrow, man. But he can miss 2 weeks straight of practice and line up on Wednesday. Gosh, yeah, it is getting late. Every Sunday and still ball the hell out for you, man. So, I mean, it is slightly possible that the Cardinals say this Jacksonville Jaguars team is trash and we don't need to start him, but I just don't see it happening, man. I would feel good about Hopkins, but if you are worried about it, just monitor it up until game time, man. You'll get an answer if he's going to play or not. But if you're asking me, it's a 1 o'clock game, so you should know by 12:30. But I wouldn't put too much sweat into it, man. I think we'll be all right regardless, man. So I think it's going to be okay, right? Let's see. Tron, my opponent had CMAC, so yeah, it's a great night. Oh, I don't want Christian McCaffrey injured, but he is a walking 25 points plus player. Yeah, man. If you like I said, it always, if he's against you, man, then yeah, it's okay to say he got injured and he's not playing against me. So yeah, good for you, man. I'm glad that it worked out in your favor, nonetheless. So let's see here. Watch out for Rondell Moore. He has more targets than Hopkins. He is a flex with upside. Yeah, I have Rondell Moore in my 20-man league. I drafted him, and I am so happy about that decision, man. And I kind of, Steve and I talked about this a little bit earlier. I kind of see Rondell Moore and Christian Kirk kind of trading off in terms of touchdowns throughout certain weeks, but I think in terms of targets and PPR value, Rondell Moore is going to bring that every single week, where I think Christian Kirk kind of has to get in the end zone to really show that true value, man. So I love Rondell Moore. I think it's a great point of conversation as well. Stephen Duff can understand your concern, but teams. Ryan, do you think if I trade Justin Jefferson for Cooper Kupp, it's fair value? I think Kupp looks better right now. I'll tell you that much. Give these superstars, especially wide receiver and running backs, some rest and relaxation. He's a plug-and-play dynamite. Tron, you're winning that trade if you get Kupp. Steven, I agree. Tron Moore is so explosive. Go get Kupp before it's late. Let's see. I picked him up, Tron. I traded him with hype with Carson for Jonathan Taylor and Mike Davis, for Logan Thomas and Damon Harris. I have Kelsey up. Yeah, good calls there, man. John, that was awful. Are you talking about Madden on the 4th and 1? Or when Richard Sherman fell on his face? Yeah, listen, a lot of things going on at once. Keep looking over. Sam Darnold's on my screen. Talking to some fans. In tears right now. Yeah, man, things happen in Madden. Things happen. I think the Richard Sherman play has got to be the worst as we go backwards here on first down. But what is up, Jace? Hope you are doing well. Guys, if I didn't get into any specifics of those questions that you needed me to, please let me know. Like I said, it's getting late. And I'm trying not to trail off too much, right? So, nonetheless, if you guys need anything else, please let me know. Jace, listen, man, I think that Kittle's going to have a really good week here against the Green Bay Packers, right? In week 1, we saw Jawan Johnson decimate this Packers team. 2 touchdowns, right, from kind of an unknown tight end. Last week, TJ Hawkinson absolutely decimated this team once again. So they've shown that they're not very good against defending the tight end position. So I would start Kittle with confidence, and I think on the season, Kittle still finishes with a very good season overall. So I would not be concerned overall. I still think he's top talent at the position. I think he's going to play very, very well here in week 3. But nonetheless, man, welcome to the catch. Welcome to the late night live stream that we're getting ready to wind down here. But man, if you got any other fantasy Q&A, please let us know. And of course, man, we hope you consider becoming part of the Catch fam and hitting that sub button down below. As not Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry is running all over me here in Madden. But yeah, man, we appreciate that question, Jace. I think Kittle's going to be just fine. And nonetheless, welcome to the Catch, man. Hope you are doing fan-frickin-tastic. Hope you didn't have Christian McCaffrey like me and see your starting number 1 overall pick get injured in tonight's game. But Tron Taylor was at its buy low. He had 7 rushes on the 5-yard line with no TD. Just need to wait for the TDs. If he had 2 TDs, he would be RB4 in PPR leagues. Yeah, I like where Jonathan Taylor is on this season. I still think he's going to have a very good year overall. Steven says, we have seen a lot of teams have success against Packers using tight ends so far. Week 1, Trotman, Bald, and Johnson had 2 TDs. And in week 2, Hawkinson absolutely cooked that Packers defense. Yeah, so Steven and I basically the same analysis there. So I agree with that, Steven. Let's see. Kittle is at his buy low, so get him if you want him, and don't panic if you already had him, says Tron. Yeah, I agree with that too, Tron. Jace, I took a gamble and traded Higbee and Osborne for him. Yeah, and Steven says, I think you won trade there, especially if Lance takes over. I think Kittle is still one of best tight end. Agree, Tron. Yeah, I think that's a good trade, Jace. So I like what you did there, man. I like Osborne a lot, but I think in terms of the trade, it probably benefited you more overall. So it's a good trade, man, and I think it will work out for you in the long run. I still like Kittle on the season over Higbee, so I think it's a good trade, man. Especially if you feel confident at the receiver position, right? Steven says, I think he won the trade there, especially if Lance takes over. I think Kittle is still one of the best tight end. Uh, I agree, Tron. Great buy, low player. Tron, let's see. That's a great trade, in my opinion. Kittle has way more upside than Higbee. Higbee played 93% of snaps and still had a terrible game. Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. And yeah, I think you won that trade overall, Jace. Steven, staph infection didn't use tight end a lot in Detroit, and it continues, and that continues with the Rams, it seems. Yeah. Man, listen, Stafford's looking, and he's seeing Kupp out there, and he's seeing Woods out there, and he's saying, yes, sir. Especially he's seeing Kupp and Woods, and he's saying, okay, Kupp, you got it, right? And I still think Sean McVay likes the running game, and he implements it into his offense, right? And I think with Higbee, you're going to see a lot of inconsistency. I still think he's going to have a good year, but I think overall we're going to see George Kittle have a much better year. And the thing with Kittle to not forget is that he is coming off of an injury season. So he might just need a little bit of time to get going. He still had a very good week 1. And that week 2 game script, with Kelsey, it was just a defensive slow burner of a game. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I think he's going to have a great week 3. Let's see. I tried to trade Kelsey for Hawkinson, and JJ and my friend laughed in my face. Yeah. I mean, Hawkinson looks good right now, man. And I think you're saying for JT. Listen, man, I think Hawkinson looks fantastic, and I think ultimately on the season he probably would have won that trade, but I still wouldn't give up Kelsey. I mean, I truly wouldn't, right? Jace asks, should I trade for JT? We'll let Tron answer that for you. If you need a RB, he's an option for sure. I got Montgomery at RB2. Well, I'll let you guys have that conversation amongst each other. Senior Cinnabon, what is going on? Love the name, man. Welcome to the catch, man. Hope you're having a great night. Hope you're doing well. Hope you didn't have Christian McCaffrey in your starting lineup like I did, which is like what I keep bringing up to everyone here tonight. Let's see if we can't get this conversion in Madden here, as we need it. Welcome to the catch. Hope you consider becoming part of the catch fam and hitting that sub button, baby. But nonetheless, we appreciate the support here tonight. I'm on the fence. Can you help me? So, should I trade Russell Wilson and Logan Thomas for Darren Waller? I already have Kyler Murray. Yes. If you're asking me, I would say yes. You can get a decent QB2 on the waiver wire throughout the season. You've got the best quarterback in fantasy football at the moment. So I think it's a good trade as you're getting arguably the best tight end 2 in fantasy football. So I think obviously Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray, a lethal combination at the quarterback position, but I still think you're winning that trade overall if you're asking me. Let's see. Kyle Ellis, is having Evans and AB on the same team a bad idea, PPR? I wouldn't say so necessarily. They're both implemented in different styles. So, no, I wouldn't say so. I don't think so. I think they're both valuable receivers in their own kind of senses. So, yeah, I wouldn't say so. Tron, I traded for him for his upside and schedule. He has the easiest of running backs going forward, as well as Darrell Henderson. You were good at running back. You don't need it. Thanks for the insight, Tron. Yeah, I'm glad you guys. Thanks for helping out our boy, Tron. Definitely appreciate seeing you guys getting some good conversation going there in the live stream. Let's see. Montgomery is having a great season now. Imagine with Fields. Yeah, it's a great point, man. I think Montgomery's value is going to skyrocket here with Justin Fields out there, right? Do you want to hear more receivers too? Yeah, keep that conversation going, guys. I love it, man. Love the catch fam getting together and helping one another out, man. That's what it's all about, bro. Let's see here. Ryan, I decided to send a trade to the guy with McCaffrey. The trade is Justin Jefferson and Myles Gaskin for Cooper Kupp and Chase Claypool. I think that's a good trade, man. I think if you get that, I really do think it's a good trade overall. I think you're winning the trade overall. I truly do think you are. Tron, maybe if Kamara has another trash week, maybe think of trading him for top players, but he still has a lot of value. I completely agree with that 1,000%, man. I wouldn't trade away Kamara just yet. Still your RB1 in fantasy football last year, so don't forget that, guys. But yeah, overall, man, loving the catch conversations tonight, guys. Loving the new faces, man. We are going to wind things down after this game of Madden, man, but love seeing the new faces. Love seeing some new members of the Catch fam, man. Just truly, truly appreciate the community, man, and this growing community as a whole, man. Listen, man, it's tough, you know, full-time job, full-time school, wife and I 6 months pregnant. Steven's got a full-time job. We both got all kinds of things going on, man. But we want to get more of these live streams going. We want to do more of these guys so we can get more responsive, conversations going, get more live fantasy Q&A. But the type of reaction we're seeing to these live streams, right? We're going to continue to do our week-to-week videos too, man. But we're going to get a lot more of these live streams going, man, because you guys, I know that you guys get a lot more out of this. You can ask more specific conversations. We can pick things apart. So just want to say, man, we both have a lot going on, but, man, we just appreciate the response to these live streams overall, man, and we appreciate the Catch fam more than you guys know. So shout out to you guys for being here tonight, man, and shout out to all you guys getting it going in the live chat tonight, man. We just appreciate all the support you guys have shown as we start to wind things down here for the night. Let's see. Tell me receivers, how you get Kyler and Russell, C.D. Jefferson and Cup. You're stacked as well. How many people in your league? 10. Yeah, Jace, that's a really good overall 10-man roster, man. Really good job with your squad there, bro. So glad to see you guys. Yeah, you have a great team, bro. Yeah, for a 10-man league even, that's a fantastic squad, man. Senior Cinnabon. It was a combination of trying to block people of two good quarterbacks and how Russell lasted way later than he should. Yeah. It's always nice when those players fall to you right at the right spots in your respective, drafts, right? And sometimes it just happens that way. The right guys fall to you, right? And great stack of quarterbacks. But at this point in the season, man, it also benefits you that you have someone that you can potentially consider to trade, right? So I think you should consider that trade with Wilson. I love Russell Wilson, man. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the leagues. But Kyler looks like QB1 on the year. But small sample size, man. It's not going to hurt you if you don't do the trade and you just have that depth, right? But I think you can probably get someone off the waiver wire. So I think it's going to work out either way for you, man. And adding Darren Waller is just going to do outstanding things for your roster, man. Jace, I lost last week because I started Dak over Hurts. Tron, you've got Ridley, Keenan, Ayuk, LOL, Tyler Boyd, Mooney, and Judy. That's what's up, my guys. That is what's up. All right, guys, so I do feel bad. I love the conversation. Love seeing it going, man. I'll let you guys talk. I'm going to end this at 11:50, man. I do have to get up for work in the morning. But nonetheless, man, got a strong feeling we're going to be hopping in another live stream tomorrow. But if not, we will 100% have the live stream going. Much longer. Saturday night is our primary live stream night, and then we will be doing a live stream before kickoff on Sunday as well. So look to be hopping in those and getting a lot more of this conversation going as well. Aaron Rodriguez, should I let go of Robbie Anderson or still stash? I think right now you can let go of him. Especially if you need some better depth. Tron, I have lost my first 2 weeks by 2 points each game. I have more points the top 3 teams on the league. I just have bad luck. Yeah, that's always the worst, man. I've had fantasy seasons where the exact same thing happens, man. And it's tough, man. Sometimes you do just have bad luck overall, man. So, Senior Cinnabon, I'm definitely going to do that trade. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, man, if you got Kyler Murray, bro, you do whatever the hell you want at quarterback position. Just hold on to Kyler Murray would be what I would recommend doing. So I think adding Waller is really going to benefit you, man. I have not bought Tron. I have not bought Madden since 2018. Is it still trash? Yeah, it's still trash. It has not changed since 2018. I can tell you that much. So, uh, listen, man, I'm running the same exact playbook, the same exact plays that I ran in 2018. I barely even have to look at the screen, and I can know what's going on. Uh, it hasn't changed. Uh, but it's still Madden, and I have a love for it, man. Like I said, I got every Madden 2002 through no, I got Madden 99 through Madden 2010 behind me, then Madden 16 through Madden 18, then Madden. I should have Madden 18 through 21 or 22 now, all on my Xbox downloaded. So, and Senior Cinnabon, it's not amazing, but if you're really into NFL, then I would definitely try it. Madden's just something that both my co-hosts, Steven and I, have played our entire lives, man. And no, it hasn't gotten better. It's very disappointing overall. But it's just one of those things. It's like a guilty pleasure, right? It's like if your girl watches The Bachelor and she just enjoys watching The Bachelor, right? Well, Madden's kind of an equivalent for myself, right? And yeah, my wife does watch The Bachelor. And you know it's bad, but you just keep going back to it, right? And that's Madden for me. So, yeah, I can admit it's still trash, but it's also Madden. You know what I'm saying? So, we won that playoff game, man. This is the Catch Fam official roster for Madden, right? We're the Broncos. So, we're going to stick with this franchise for quite some time for these live streams because you guys know I can't. I can't put games up on the live stream, right? I don't want to get any copyright strikes. And I also don't just want to show my face. I want to have something somewhat entertaining for you guys to watch. So I figured Madden's a good place to be at. Tron, I have played Madden since '08, but decided to stop giving EA money in 2018. Man, I can't blame you. You know, I thought about it last year. I barely played last year's Madden, but I was also very deep into Warzone at the time, Call of Duty Warzone, and that had more to do with it, I think. But yeah, I really barely played last year's Madden. I played some of the Yard. Is that the multiplayer joint they had on there with some of my friends? I did like that. I thought that was a decent addition. Best thing they've done in quite some time. And it was cool that they started to kind of expand their online presence. But I've always been a franchise guy, and you know, the lack of care for franchise mode has been very disappointing, to say the least. And I have definitely considered stopping giving EA my money. Right, I can definitely respect that, man. But the only reason I'll put it this way: the only reason I bought this year's Madden was to benefit these live streams. I didn't buy it until I did the first live stream where you guys saw me throw Madden up on the screen. I bought it that night. And actually, yeah, in that live stream, I bought it that night. It didn't finish downloading. So I was playing Madden 21, right? So yeah, I didn't buy it until I decided that I wanted to have a franchise to play for the live streams for this channel. So that puts things into perspective. So outside of that, I had no plans buying it this year whatsoever. Senior Cinnabon, the NFL needs to give the license to other developers so that EA has some competition. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And I think, isn't that somewhat in the works? I think it might be, man. So we'll find out. But also, what console do you play? I'm thinking of changing to the Series S. I've always owned a PlayStation. I have Xbox One S. Is that the right one? I still haven't been able to track down a Series S, man. I was supposed to get one for Christmas last year, but my wife couldn't find one, and she still hasn't been able to find one. And I got nothing against PlayStation. I've just been more of an Xbox guy myself, but I've been strongly considering getting a PlayStation. I've been strongly considering getting both. I'm an Xbox guy myself, though. But I really like where the PlayStation's at right now, man. And being that the PlayStation has been more available, uh, I was and here's the other aspect, right? No new games coming out for the Xbox quite yet, and a lot of beautiful, awesome new games coming out for the PlayStation. So I was kind of thinking, get a PlayStation for now, get the new Xbox down the road. But I think the new PlayStations looked amazing. The rollout's been better. Games look beautiful. New Resident Evil on there looked fantastic. I watched. FaZe Jev is my personal favorite streamer, so I watched him play that whole game. It looked incredible. But I'm still an Xbox guy at the end of the day. But I'm probably going to end up getting both consoles down the road. I think 2K was making a football game, but just arcade, like not simulation. Okay, word. That's what I was thinking of. I just couldn't put my name or my finger on the right point there. But EA pays a lot of money to be the only license. Yeah, man. I don't know what we're going to have to do to see some changes in Madden, man. Like I said, it's just a guilty pleasure. It's at this point, that's all it is, man. So I can't hate on you for not wanting to give EA any money. In my country, they're not $400 but $100 more. It's not a big deal. Yeah. I just can't even find them other than from scalpers reselling them for like $1,000 online. So it's hard to say, man. But I hope I track one down soon. And yeah, I'm gonna end up getting both the PlayStation and Xbox. So. All right, guys, we will be back on the live stream hopefully tomorrow, but like I said, if not, we will definitely have a live stream on Saturday night and Sunday before the game and possibly Sunday after the games and probably Monday as well. So the live streams will be here to stay. Plenty of fantasy Q&A coming up around the corner, but nonetheless, I appreciate you guys coming out here on Thursday night. Appreciate all the new faces, all the new members of the Catch fam. Shout out to all of you guys, man. Appreciate your love and support more than you guys know. Senior Cinnabon, honestly, if you don't have any friends on Xbox and you play lots of games, then definitely get a PS5. And if my friends were not on Xbox, then I would get a PS5. I'm from Panama. I guess you're in the U.S., says Tron. Yes, sir, I am in the U.S. But yeah, it's a great point from Senior Cinnabon because the PS5 does look a little bit better overall. And Xbox, yeah, that's the main reason I have Xbox is to play online with my friends and all of that. But yeah, man, appreciate all you guys. Appreciate you guys coming out. Hope I see you guys in the upcoming live streams over the next coming days. Good luck to all you guys on Sunday if I don't see you before then. But nonetheless, look out for Saturday night. Saturday night's the main live stream, man. That's when we're really chilling, sitting and kicking back in some conversation. But nonetheless, appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all you guys who came through, all the new faces, all the new subscribers. Shout out to the Catch fam. Thank all of you guys individually. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And remember, you saw it here.